From the CSI softball complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II softball coverage. Today's non-conference matchup features the Golden Falcons of Felician University taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. We're on the air just a bit late. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner Nick Bavona. It's going to be a very brief McDonald's pregame show on the other side of the national anthem, which is being played right now here at the CSI softball complex. We'll be right back.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex where the College of Staten Island is getting set to take on Felician University. Starting lineups are being introduced out on the field. However, Nick and I just got those starting lineups, so we'll hold off on sharing the starters with you until the action gets underway. But Nick, let's talk a bit about this matchup entering today's games. For the Dolphins, they are playing their second doubleheader in the last 2 days. They dropped a pair of games yesterday against Westchester University of Pennsylvania. The first game, a close one. The second game got away from the Dolphins early.
And that's really been the story so far for the Dolphins. A lot of games have gotten away from them. And really, Joe, from what we saw in last year's doubleheader against these two teams, a lot of runs were scored in that series. The first game, it was 11-10. CSI unfortunately fell on a walk-off hit by a pitch. But in Game 2, you saw a good pitcher from Anissa Acosta. Had a complete game, gave up 2 earned runs, and a 9-2 victory for CSI. If CSI is going to take these games today, they're going to need some strong pitching because this is a very good Felician lineup.
Dolphins participated in the spring games a couple of weeks ago now. However, Felician University just returned from the spring games earlier this week. So the Golden Falcons are in action for the first time since playing down in Florida. It was an extensive trip for both the Dolphins and the Golden Falcons. For Felician, they dropped both of their games on that final day in Leesburg, Florida at the spring games. Taking a look at some Dolphins and how they fared this season entering today's game, you mentioned one name in the circle last year, Anissa Acosta. She had a big day at the plate yesterday, a couple of home runs.
Yeah, she's been a big spark for the Dolphins throughout her tenure here at the College of Staten Island, and they're going to really need her today in order to get a big-time doublehead winner against Felician University.
Also, Mariah Carcano leading the Dolphins in batting. She's had a tremendous year, still hitting up around the 400 mark. Eileen Balderas also has 2 home runs along with Acosta. Both of them have hit a pair of long balls this year. Alyssa Acosta, Anissa's sister, also hitting above the 300 mark. She's among CSI's leading hitters as well. Yesterday, a tough day for the Dolphins pitching staff. They look to rebound today. And in the circle for the Dolphins will be Alexis Miramontes.
And Miramontes right now really has not had the strongest start to the season, but a key win in Game 1 of this doubleheader would be key, not only for her, but for CSI. She's currently 3-4 on the season with a 6.81 ERA, leads the team in strikeouts with 14. They really need her to pitch a strong performance in this game in order to get the win, because the team ERA right now for CSI, Joe, has not been the greatest for the Dolphins. A 6.11 team ERA. They really need to get that fixed, especially against a Felician lineup that's hitting around just about 300 as a team, batting average-wise.
300 batting average for, 308 to be exact. 308 batting average against for this Felician staff and for their offense. 308s across the board for the Golden Falcons. Miramontes opposes them in the circle, and she was off to a decent start this year. Yesterday's outing, where she was knocked out early in her start against the Golden Rams, really skewed her numbers in a bad direction. She will look to rebound against Felician University here today as we are set to get underway. Alexis Velada steps into the box for Felician University as the wind immediately picks up, sends papers flying, dust into my face, and the first pitch of the game is taken for a called strike one.
Well, it's going to be that type of a game, Joe. A lot of very unfortunate circumstances when it comes down to the weather, but at the end of the day, we have a nice sunny day at least when it comes down to the weather conditions of this game.
The number one condition I have for broadcasting softball is no rain. Number two is typically warm weather. We got one of those today.
Got one.
Certainly no rain in the forecast. This might be the coldest doubleheader I've covered in years here at the CSI Softball Complex, as that is sent foul and out of play down the right field line.
And Velota's numbers in the season, Joe, are really staggering. 371 batting average, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs. She's one of the biggest reasons why Felician is batting at that team batting average of 308. She's having a strong start to the season.
She's behind in the count here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We didn't forget about those starting lineups. However, as of right now, they are not loaded into our live stats, so we're waiting for that, as that's taken down and in for ball 2.
Miramontes just missing on that pitch now. 2-2 count for Velota.
Two and 2 pitch on its way. That's taken downstairs for ball 3. Now, early in starts, we've seen Miramontes struggle with control, but once she's found her rhythm in the circle, she's been tough to hit. When she's been beaten up, it's been early in games. And that's hit sharply on the ground to short, handled by Balderas, and she throws out Velota for the game's first out.
And a nice job right there to get a key first out. But Velota did her job at the plate. She forced a very, easy count of 3-2 and was able to force one into play, but a strong play to start off for the Dolphins.
All right, we now have the starting lineups. Very unique issue that arises with Stat Crew and pushing live stats. If the game starts even a minute early, as that's lined into left center field for an extra base hit, and that point will have to wait. As rounding first and heading to second is Jaylene Sierra, and she's on with a 1-out double.
Sierra, first pitch swinging, lines it into left center field for that double, and early trouble for Miramontes now. Runner in scoring position with only 1 away.
Well, I said it before. If you're an opposing team looking to get to Miramontes, it is best to do so early in the game, but my point quickly was going to be, if we start even a minute early, stats don't push until the scheduled start time, which was 11 a.m. So
right.
That's why we had to wait for those lineups, as we have a swing and a miss at that first pitch by Daisha Howard for strike 1.
Daisha Howard, another strong start for Felician. 393 batting average, leads the team with 4 home runs and 17 RBIs. She has also had a very stellar start to this season.
And she's quickly in a 2-strike hole right here, as Miramontes looks for a big punch out in the opening inning. Comes the 0-2. That's off the outside corner.
And a good job by Miramontes trying to force Howard to swing something a little bit outside of the plate. Just couldn't force her there. Now it's a 1-2 pitch.
Good 2-strike pitch there for Miramontes. Here comes the 1-2. That off-speed pitch is fouled back. You could see she had Howard just a bit out in front of that one. I said it a lot last year. Miramontes does a very good job of changing speeds in the circle. And that's abundantly clear as we call the game from right behind home plate here at the CSI Softball Complex. Once again, Howard just a bit out in front as she fights off that one foul.
And this is why Howard's batting .393 in the season. She's able to force some pitches, take some foul, at least hit some foul balls, and keep the at-bat going. And now another 1-2 pitch for Miramontes.
Here comes another 1-2. That sails up high. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Golden Falcons' third baseman. Comes the 2-2. And that misses for ball 3. First base is open here, but after getting ahead 0-2, Miramontes would hate to lose Howard to a walk.
Howard's done a great job at the plate, forcing this count to go to 3-2. Let's see what Miramontes got here.
That's a great at-bat by Howard. Fought off a couple of tough pitches, stayed in the at-bat, and works out the walk. And that will put 2 on. Still just 1 out. And Catherine Steinmetz will be the batter.
Now, the good thing for Miramontes is she cannot let that get to her head. Now, a double play ball is in effect for the Dolphins, so a great opportunity for CSI to get out of this inning.
Double plays can be a bit tougher to come by in softball with the shorter baselines, and that one's sliced foul. Steinmetz behind 0-1. She's catching for the Golden Falcons today, batting out of the cleanup spot. And the 0-1 pitch skips in for a ball. Steinmetz comes in hitting at .407 on the season. She already has 5 doubles. That's fouled away once again, out of play.
Certainly a big reason why she's batting cleanup today, and a chance to get an RBI to put Felician on the board early in this game.
Shout out to our lone grounds crew member, Stephen Bonfield. He lined the fields. He's now chasing foul balls. As that's sliced through the right side, and that's up to Lewis whether or not that will go down as a base hit. It rolls all the way to the fence. That will clear the bases, and Steinmetz is into third base standing.
That's just a tough break for CSI right there. If I had to stat that one, Joe, I probably would give that an error. It was a great opportunity for CSI to make the play. Just at, unfortunately, 2 runs are going to come in for Felician and give them an early 2-0 lead.
Well, you and I will have the benefit of replay right here. I'm with you, Nick. That may have been hit hard enough to credit a hit. We'll talk about it during the break, because that's hit sharply to third. Good throw by Moore. And with 1 pitch, Dolphins retire Vienna Shakia.
Now batting the shortstop, Mia Martinez.
Shakia was doing really good in the season also. .450 batting average going into that bat. That's a key out for CSI. Now 2 away with a runner on third.
And that one is sliced foul. Watching that on replay, I would be okay with scoring that either way.
I think it's a very bang-bang play there. I mean, we certainly had a lot of games here at the softball complex where we had some issues with stats and deciding what is what, but I think that could go either way when you're statting that one.
We'll slow it down one more time before we head to break and take a look. As the 0-1 pitch misses for a ball. I would say bring it down to about half speed. We only need the front of that play, too. And we'll wait until the final out is recorded, as that's hit well out to center. But Carcano makes the catch, and the side is retired. But not before the Golden Falcons strike for 2 runs in the first inning. They lead CSI 2-0. We will stay right here. Let's get one more look at that play, Nick. I'm leaning hit, Nick.
I think at the end of the day, I think that's going to be a hit. I think it's a tough play at second base.
Lewis wants a headset now. Nick, if you want to loan Lewis yours,
you go right ahead.
Let's hear what he has to say.
How's it going, Joe?
It's going well. How's it going over there at the stats desk? Tough call. What do you think?
I'm going to credit that as a hit only because it was definitely a hard enough hit ball where she did have to slightly dive for it. And it's like you said, I overheard it could go either way, but I decided to give it a hit because it was a hard enough hit ball.
Your word is final, Lewis. It goes down as a hit, and the Dolphins trail 2-0. As Nick gets those 2 hits up on the scoreboard very quickly. Thank you, Lewis. Nick and I will be right back with the second inning. Or the first turn at bat, I should say. Bottom of the first inning.
Stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex. You got a chance to hear from our statistician, Louis Matrone, early in the game. Nick, what did you think of what Louis had to say?
I think it's the right call. The only thing I had on the play was that maybe the runner going from first to second maybe obstructed that play and it forced, the dive to go a little bit later than it would have been on that play. So it's really a tough call at the end of the day. But either way, Felician goes up 2-0 early on with that 2-run, I guess, triple, if we want to stat it that way.
Certainly a triple, if it's not an error. And I think your point about the runner perhaps making it a more difficult play reinforces Lewis's decision to give that a hit. So officially 2 hits on the board for Felician. They lead 2-0. And Mariah Carcano is quickly ahead in the count 3-0.
And Carcano, you talked about Joe early in the pregame. She's had herself a great start to the season, hitting .390, a .419 on base percentage as well.
That on base percentage leads the Dolphins. That batting average leads the Dolphins. And she takes a called strike. On top of that, I said it numerous times while Andrew and I were down in Florida, she's played a great center field for the Dolphins this year.
Could not ask more out of your leadoff hitter. Not only a good at bat, but can play some great defense as well.
Carcano looked to bunt there and sends it foul. Just taking a look at the stolen base numbers for the Dolphins this year. They don't run much. Not much at all. Carcano, their leadoff hitter, with just 2 stolen base attempts. Comes to 3-2. And that's lined into left field for a leadoff hit. Good start for the Dolphins as Carcano lines one into left field. Dolphins have the leadoff batter on, and Anissa Acosta will step into the box.
And a good job by Carcano here. She hit it right against the shift, basically, in between the third baseman and the shortstop. A nice leadoff single, and now Acosta, who leads the team in RBIs, comes up to the plate with a runner on first.
1 on, nobody out. And the first pitch to Acosta sails outside. And we are back here from the CSI softball complex where wireless internet has failed us. Had that issue in Florida. Hopefully it is not a persistent one, as that's it over to first. The throw comes home, and Acosta is forced out at the plate.
And a nice play right there. It's a key first out. Great at bat by Acosta either way, though. She forced the count to go to full of 3-2. Got unfortunately, a weak ground ball to first base. Bases stay loaded for the Dolphins. 1 out, but a huge first out for the Golden Falcons, to say the least.
That was a good play in the field over at first base by Lehman. And Natalia Noth takes a called strike. Here comes the 0-1. And that's it. Back to the circle. That'll bring home a run. And Noth is out at first. But the run comes home. And the Dolphins have tied the score at 2.
Well, Noth did did what she needed to do, Joe. She was able to get the run home. And now it's a tie game at 2.
Chance here for the Dolphins to take the lead with 2 outs. Madison Edwards will be the batter. She quickly falls behind 0-1. And Edwards takes a called strike 2. Following the final out in this half inning, we are going to cut the stream briefly. We will be right back. We have to make some changes to our output settings in order to accommodate the slower internet speeds, as that pitch is taken outside.
Count is now 1-1. Second and third, 2 outs for the Dolphins.
Big opportunity here for Edwards. She chops one just foul down the line. So once again, the stream will temporarily go offline following the final out in this half inning. We have to make some changes to our output settings, and we will come back as quickly as we can. Don't see any reason why we shouldn't be back before the next half inning, as the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Dolphins' second baseman. That sliced foul yet again.
We see a lot of that in this first inning. A lot of foul balls, forced by the Dolphins. It has forced a count again for Williams. Now it's still 2-2. Edwards with a chance here, trying to get the Dolphins the lead.
Edwards continues to battle. And that is in for a called strike 3. A big strikeout for Williams, who loaded the bases with nobody out. The Dolphins scored just twice, but they have gotten even. We're knotted up at 2. Heading to the second. Our stream will temporarily go offline now. We'll be right back.
Rivera.
Just fix the...
And we are back from the CSI softball complex. That took a couple of extra minutes, but hopefully that solves our internet problems for the rest of the day. You missed a couple of at-bats to open up this half inning. Fill you in just a moment, as the Golden Falcons have a runner on second base with 1 out. The inning opened with a walk, and then a ground ball back to the circle off of a sacrifice bunt, advanced the runner to second, but now the Dolphins have recorded the second out, and it's back to the top of the order for Felician.
Now batting, the designated player, number 32, Alexis Villada.
So Villada now comes up with a runner on second, 2 outs. Great opportunity for Miramontes and the Dolphins to get out of the inning and keep the game tied at 2.
And the pitch from Miramontes sails up and away for ball 1. If I'm not mistaken, we did broadcast in 720p down here at softball last season. We attempted to broadcast in 1080p to start the day. It doesn't appear as if that's going to be a possibility. And that's why we had to change our settings and come back on the air. Can't change that live. So we have to make those changes while the stream is offline.
Certainly battling the conditions and the connection, to say, here at the College of Staten Island.
We'll call it brisk conditions and spotty internet. It's more than brisk out here. It's very cold, though it has gotten better since first pitch.
Right.
And I think it will continue to get better until late in the afternoon, as that's chopped softly to short. Balderas comes up throwing, and the throw is in time, as Villada is retired for the final out of the inning. The Golden Falcons strand 1 in scoring position. We head to the home half of the second with the score tied at 2.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service. So is research, so is becoming a better person, and we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach, and he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him, and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we are back for the bottom half of the second inning. CSI and Felician knotted up at 2. And Rianne Mayer will lead things off for the Dolphins.
So far, 2s all around. 2 runs, 2 hits for the Golden Falcons, 2 runs, 2 hits for the Dolphins.
And Mayer takes a called strike 2. Mayer comes in hitting at .267. That average has been on the climb over the last few games. She's 4th on this Dolphins ball club in batting. Here comes the 1-2. And that's a letter high strike 3. One away now in the home second. And Jessica Carrion will be the batter. Carrion has been in the Dolphins lineup for the majority of their games, but hasn't hit in a lot of those. She started 7 times. That's half of CSI's games. Has now started 8 times in 15 games with a start here this afternoon.
You see the infield is all the way in as they are expecting another bunt here.
Certainly a possibility. And Carrion whiffs on that pitch for strike 2. Carrion with 2 hits and 13 at-bats this season. But she certainly saved some runs with her defensive play in the outfield. We've seen that throughout the last year and change now. Even further back than that, as this is Carrion's 3rd season with the Dolphins. That's fouled straight back.
She barely got a piece of that one, but just able to force a foul ball and keep the at-bat going at 1-2.
One and 2 pitch upcoming from Williams. And that's swung on and missed for strike 3.
Well, Williams does lead the team in strikeouts. 2 quick ones here in the second inning. As Dolphins now back to the top of the order with Carcano.
Carcano had a sharply hit single her first time up. Carcano capable of hitting the ball to all fields. I'd say she favors the left side a bit, especially when trying to slap the ball, but she's definitely capable of utilizing the middle. And there's a big hole there as they have her played favoring third, especially on the left side of the infield.
And that's where she hit the ball in the first inning. She hit it right between the third baseman and the shortstop. So you see why the Golden Falcons are kind of leaning towards that position of the field. But you're right, Joe. There is a big gap up the middle. So if she's able to slap it up the middle, she'll be on base.
She is certainly capable of hitting the ball in that direction. We'll see if she can come through in this spot with 2 outs. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike on the CSI center fielder. That's taken for ball 3.
So what happened the last inning? Carcano was on first, and Acosta ripped one to left center for the RBI double. They have a great opportunity to do that again if Carcano gets on.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. Count is now full. And that's popped up foul. Williams has already walked 1 and struck out 3. Carcano stays alive. Here comes another 3-2 pitch. And that's off the outside corner for ball 4.
That's a great at-bat by Carcano. Was able to foul off that previous pitch to force another 3-2. And just like the bottom of the first inning, now Carcano on first, Acosta coming up to the plate, And once again, you look at it, Joe, from the outfield perspective, left center field wide open again for Acosta. So she's got a great opportunity to put CSI on top for the first time today.
The corner outfielders for the Golden Falcons playing very close to the lines. Bit more than I'm accustomed to seeing. And you said it, Nick. There is a massive gap in left center. The same goes for right center. And that's chopped off the glove of Williams, and it's bobbled it short. It trickles into center field, and Carcano will go first to third.
Now, the question is, Joe, what do you stat that?
That's 100% a hit. That is not a routine play off the glove of the pitcher. That's an easy one for Lewis. They certainly didn't have a play at first, I can tell you that. The only chance for an out was at second, and that was going to be incredibly close. Elizabeth Moore is the batter. She's behind 0-1. Walked her first time up. Chance here to give CSI the lead. That misses for a ball.
Just very close on that pitch. So Moore with first and third, 2 outs, tie game at 2, and a chance. Oh, Joe, I don't know. They put an error on the scoreboard.
Well, the error occurs allowing the runner to advance.
Right.
So there is an error on the play.
Right.
That's a hit. That ball, at the very least, has to be knocked down.
Right.
Moore takes a called strike 2. Now you'll see they do have the correct hit tally of 3. Here comes the 2-2. And that's it on the ground, again off the glove of Williams, but this time the play is made over at second base, and that will retire the side. The Dolphins strand 2 on base. Our score remains even at 2 as we head to the third inning.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag, like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island, where the score remains tied at 2. Golden Falcons come to the plate to open up the third inning. And Jaylene Sierra takes inside for ball 1. She was looking to bunt there. Question is, did she get a piece? I don't think so.
It looked like from here, but I think you're right, Joe. I think it just went right off the glove.
1-0 is the count. And that's hit sharply through the middle for a base hit. That's good hitting right there. Sierra showed bunt on that first pitch, drew in the corners a bit, and then grounded one straight through the middle. Well, there was a big hole once again.
And again, there is one here on this play for Daisha Howard.
Sierra is running. Good throw. Is in time, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like we're going to have some protest from the Golden Falcons. Now, I was obstructed by Miramontes. I could not see the play.
So we're going to look here on the replay.
I was going based off the reaction of the spectators and the Dolphins dugout. The throw was certainly in time. The question is, was the tag in time? Let's slow it down once more. It's always very challenging to try and slow those replays down, Nick. There you go. Let's look at it again.
So you see the pitch just a little bit on the outside. Throw to second was there. A little bit of a short throw.
Now,
It's
watching
tough.
the replay, the tag was applied on the runner's shoulder. That's a tag applied very high. Unless the runner overslid the base, I think she may have been in there. But a good play behind the plate by Mayer. That was certainly a strong throw, and she made that throw from her knees. Didn't have time to get to her feet.
Right.
Nicely done by the Dolphins catcher. Call goes CSI's way. And there's now one gone here in the road third inning. And Howard is behind 0-2.
That's big considering Howard leads the team in RBIs and in home runs. So to get an out right there and not have a runner in scoring position is huge for the Dolphins.
This is just how her last at-bat started, as the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that's hit through the middle once again for a base hit. Golden Falcons just driving the ball right back where it's pitched. For the second time this inning, they have a single up the middle as that ball trickled away from Miramontes, and Howard thought about it.
You certainly heard from the CSI dugout they were not happy about that throw. But that key play at second base is huge for the Dolphins because that could have potentially brought home a run if the runner was safe at second. So CSI gets a break there. Chance for a double play ball. But like you said, Joe, early on, it's very tough to turn a double play here on the softball complex.
When the dugout is not happy about something, we are some of the first people to hear it. We are seated about maybe 10 feet from the Dolphins' dugout. This is as close as we get to any of the team's benches, to any of the action. Perhaps with the exception of basketball, as that's lined into shallow left for a base hit. And Steinmetz is on with a single. 2 on, 1 out for the Golden Falcons, who now have 5 hits in the game.
Trouble is a brewing early on for the Dolphins. Now Vienna Kurchia, I guess is how you pronounce that,
I
Joe.
would go with Shirkia, but we don't have a pronunciation
Apologies
guide.
if it's not the exact pronunciation of her name. But she comes up with a great opportunity right now. First and second, 1 out. A chance to bring home the go-ahead run for the Golden Falcons.
That caught stealing is huge right now. That's accounted for the only out in the inning as that's grounded toward the middle. And the Dolphins get it out at second, and they get one more at the plate. Double play in the most unconventional fashion we've seen this year. How about that?
All I'm going to say is, Joe, good luck to Lou Matro on the stats desk having to score that one up. That is a great double play force by the Dolphins to get out of this inning, keep the game tied at 2.
We'll get a second look at that one momentarily, as we do have the replay. We'll just have to wait for it to finish on the left side of our screen, then we'll send it over to the right side. A very unusual play. Here's a look. Did that hit Miramontes' glove or no? I didn't think so.
No, it did not.
So 4-6-2 on the double play, and the Dolphins escape the inning unscathed. Our score still tied at 2, heading to the home third.
Stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us.
To intervene.
Because we can.
Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex where a 4-6-2 double play brought the last half inning to a close. And Nick, the caught stealing goes the way of the Dolphins. We spoke to our statistician, Louis Matrone, during the break. We looked at it on replay, and after a second look, it appeared the runner was safe. That may be a big call in this game if this finishes with a close final score, but the Dolphins get the benefit of the call and then make something happen in the field.
Well, certainly if you're a fan of the Golden Falcons, you got to, something to gripe with for that play, because it definitely would have given Felician the lead, but CSI got the call and they were able to get out of the inning, as there's a nice leadoff single for the Dolphins.
Balderas singles through the middle, and we've now seen 3 hits go in that direction out of the last 4.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 12.
That ground ball was toward the middle as well. And not to be lost in that play was the effort just to get there over at second base by Edwards. She got her glove on it with a diving attempt and deflected it straight to Balderas, who was waiting at second to cover. Then Balderas had the awareness to come home with the ball.
Which I was about to say, Joe, great awareness by Balderas to get, see where the runner was at third. Saw her coming home, made the strong throw to the plate, got the out. A huge double play for CSI to get out of that inning.
And that one's lined into left center field for a base hit. And Alyssa Acosta has another Dolphins hit. Both teams now have 5 in the game. And when we previewed this matchup, Nick, we said we expected to see a lot of offense, and that has certainly come to fruition.
And now a chance for the Dolphins to take the lead for the first time. Noth comes up to the plate. First and second, nobody out. And you said it, Joe, 2 runs, 5 hits for both of these teams. It's been a strong offensive start.
Natalia Noth at the plate, and she takes outside for ball 1. Noth had one of the biggest hits of the trip for the Dolphins down at the spring games. Big pinch hit, 2 RBI double, helping CSI to their lone victory on the trip. That may have actually been in one of the losses. Still a close game nonetheless. I can't remember if that was in the St. Rose game or if it was in the Lake Erie game. Nonetheless, Noth has very often been the first pinch hitter off of the Dolphins bench. Has gotten a lot of opportunities in that role and has excelled as she takes up and away.
It's certainly a big opportunity right here to give CSI their first lead of the day. 2-2 count, first and second, nobody out.
Noth comes in hitting an even 300, but with only 10 at-bats does not qualify to be among the team leaders in batting as she strikes out right there.
And that's another big strikeout for Williams. Huge first out for the Golden Falcons. As Madison Edwards, who made a big play in that previous half inning, now comes up to the bat with 1 out, first and second, trying to give the CSI the lead.
Edwards 0 for 1 at the plate in this game. She takes ball 1. Balderas on second. Acosta on first. That's on the inside corner for a strike. One and one the count on the Dolphins' second baseman, and Edwards grounds one just foul. That was close, and that would have been trouble.
Yeah, that would have been huge trouble for Felician. Really, realistically, maybe able to get 1 out on that play if it was fair, but thankfully for them, it is a foul ball now, 1-2.
I think they had the out at third, but it was certainly going to be close because Howard would have had to retreat back to the bag after making the diving stop a few feet away. Not sure she was within range to simply touch the base. And once again, Edwards chops one just foul. Edwards looks to be just a bit on top of the ball right now at the plate.
Kind of saw this in our last at-bat, too, where she was fouling off a couple pitches, forced, a 3-2 count, was able to get a walk. Has a chance to do that again in this at-bat, but still 2-2. Still needs to protect the plate here with 1 out.
And there's a swing and a miss. And Edwards goes down on strikes.
Well, how about that for Williams? She gets 2 big strikeouts after the first 2 runners get on for the Dolphins and now has a chance to get out of the inning unscathed.
Williams now has 5 strikeouts as Rianne Mayer takes out of the zone for ball 1. Comes the 1-0. There's a good off-speed pitch for a called strike.
Certainly would be realistic for the Dolphins, would be kind of a disaster if they were not able to bring home one of these runs. Had the first 2 runners get on, but back-to-back strikeouts have now put Golden Falcons in a chance to get out of the inning.
That's taken well inside. Mayer forced to spin out of the way. Count 2 balls and 1 strike on the Dolphins catcher. And that catches the corner for a called strike 2.
And now if you're Mayer, got to protect the plate here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The game tied at 2.
Here comes the 2-2. And Mayer fights that one off. Mayer a bit out in front on that pitch, was fooled, but did a good job to stay alive. After the first 2 Dolphins in the inning reached, Williams has struck out 2 in a row. Comes the 2-2. And once again, Mayer chops it foul. Here comes the 2-2. That's inside for ball 3.
And the Dolphins will certainly be running on this pitch. 3-2, 2 outs. Great opportunity for CSI. Potentially either bases loaded or maybe a run if something gets into play.
Base hit should certainly score one. And Mayer strikes out on the off-speed pitch. Riley Williams strikes out the side after allowing the first 2 Dolphins to reach, and we are still tied at 2 heading to the 4th.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And we're back for the start of the 4th inning. Nick, not sure anybody saw this coming. After 4 runs were scored between the 2 teams in the first, no runs since. Though both sides have had their chances.
They've definitely had their chances, especially for CSI in that previous half inning. They had the first 2 runners get on, but 3 straight strikeouts for Williams get out of the inning. And even for the Golden Falcons, they had their opportunity in the top of the 3rd inning. But that that caught stealing really hurt them at the end of the day, and they were not able to capitalize once that out was made.
Leading things off for the Golden Falcons in the road 4th is Mia Martinez. She's 0 for 1 at the plate thus far. The 1-1 on its way for Miramontes, and that's hit in the air on the infield, and Edwards makes the grab on the run.
And a good job by Edwards to track that one down. It is a sunny day here, so it could be some tough fly balls for these Dolphins and for the Golden Falcons, but a heads-up play by Edwards to track it down for the first out of the inning.
Madeline Lehman will be the batter. She's without an official at bat in the game. Drew a walk her first time up. And that's lined to right, falling fast, and Carrion makes the catch. Or check that, that's Acosta in right. So earlier, Carrion was announced as the right fielder. Carrion is the left fielder.
the center fielder, number 6.
Always a confusion sometimes when it comes to the lineup, but heads up play by Acosta. She also was able to track that one down and make a nice play in right field. 2 quick outs for the Dolphins here at the top of the 4th innings.
Trying to pass the message along to our left, not having an easy time, as the Dolphins get the out on that swinging bunt attempt by Ramirez. Strong throw to first, retires the side, and just like that, the Golden Falcons go down 1-2-3. Dolphins have another chance to take the lead when they come to bat in the home 4th.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we're back for the bottom half of the 4th inning. Still tied at 2. 2 runs on 5 hits for both sides. As the infield creeps in with Jessica Carrion at the plate. And Carrion takes a called strike. Carrion struck out her first time up. She's 0 for 1 at the dish. And that's bunted foul.
We saw Williams in the last inning strike out 3 in a row after giving up 2 straight leadoff base runners for the Dolphins. Has a chance to get her 4th straight strikeout here with a 0-2 count.
Carry on in a 2-strike hole. And she offers that pitch. It comes up empty for strike 3. Another strikeout for Williams. She's now struck out 4 straight.
And now Carcano up to the plate. She's had herself a strong start to this one.
That's taken up and away by the Dolphins center fielder for ball 1. Carcano's already been on base twice. Singled her first time, walked her second time. And she takes that off-speed pitch for a called strike.
You see a lot of that from Williams today, a lot of off-speed pitches, and it's really fooled the Dolphins at the plate. You saw her there at Carcano. She was not ready for that one.
Both pitchers have changed speeds very well in this game and have really settled in since the first inning. And I don't know if you caught that last pitch, Nick, but she brought the heat on that one, and Carcano was late.
Good
pitching.
Yeah, very good changing of the minds for Williams here on her pitches.
And there's the off-speed pitch again. Carcano got a piece, but she pops it to short, and there are quickly 2 away.
We saw Miramontes at the top of the inning, got a quick 1-2-3 inning. Williams now an out away from also getting a quick 1-2-3 inning as Acosta comes up to the plate trying to keep the inning alive for the Dolphins.
Acosta 2 for 2 at the plate in this game. Was credited with a stolen base. Has doubled. And here she flies out in foul territory down the right field line. So the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in their half of the 4th. And we head to the 5th, still tied at 2.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Fifth inning from the CSI softball complex, score even at 2. First pitch of the fifth is in for a called strike to Joanna Rivera. Rivera 0 for 1 in the game. And she takes a ball.
And the wind now starting to pick up just a little bit here as papers are almost flying around.
I'm doing my best to try and anchor everything down. The wind is what makes it so cold here at the CSI softball complex, but we say it all the time. The wind is certainly a challenge for the outfielders. That being said, the wind here is nothing compared to the wind at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park.
Those were some interesting conditions, to say the least. But nonetheless, we had a great time calling those games. As Velada now comes up with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning.
So Rivera retired quickly on just 3 pitches. Alexis Velada, the batter. She's 0 for 2, and she takes a called strike. We do expect to be back at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park, home of Staten Island Ferry Hawks, of course, as fans later this season. Nick is already investigating a sweep. Says we only need 10 people.
I think that could be arranged. That definitely could be arranged.
I'm certainly in. I heard chicken tenders, and I was on board. I know you're on board for that.
You know I'm on board.
Sounds good. Comes the 1-1, and that's ripped foul down the line. Velada got all of that one, just a bit out in front.
You said the last setting, Miramontes has definitely changed her speed when it comes down to her pitches in this game. You said Velada just a little bit out in front of that one. 1-2 count. And a chance for Miramontes to get an early second out here in the top of the 5th inning.
1-2 the count on the Golden Falcons' designated hitter, and that's taken low.
And I like the pitch there from Miramontes, trying to force Velada to, swing at something in the dirt. But she was not biting on that pitch. Now 2-2 with 1 out.
That's it on the ground to second. Easy play for Edwards, and there are 2 away.
You got to get credit to both these pitchers, Joe. They both started off really slow in that first inning. Both gave up 2 runs early on, but since that has happened, at the current moment, we have 3 straight scoreless innings, and for Miramontes is 1 out away from a 4th straight scoreless inning. So we've seen some good pitching in this one.
Well, we've seen a lot of Miramontes here at the CSI softball complex. I got to look at her in the circle down in Florida. We've seen her pitch enough to know that if you don't get to her early, you might not get to her at all.
Certainly is very good once it gets into the later innings of this game, and you've seen it in this one for sure. Since that first inning with 2 runs, like I said, 3 straight scoreless innings, and is 1 out away from a 4th straight scoreless inning. She's got 2 outs already.
Something else that I highlighted last year as well is Jaylene Sierra takes ball 3. There goes our screen shade. The wind really picking up now. We'll have to keep an eye on our camera.
Kind of jinxed ourselves, Joe, during the break. We said that the weather conditions haven't been that bad, but the wind has certainly picked up since we have said that. So kind of the commentators jinx even during our commercial break.
But there was one more point I wanted to make as the 3-1 pitch is taken on the inside corner for strike 2. Very often last season, Tracy Garofalo would take out her starting pitcher at the start of the 3rd pass through the lineup. And we're at that point right now. Don't expect Miramontes to come out of this game at all as she hits Sierra with the pitch. And on a cold day especially, that one hurts.
That one's definitely going to sting. compared to would have rather be, a spring type of weather, especially this type of weather, is definitely going to hurt a little bit for Martinez. Or sorry, for Sierra. But now she will go to first base. We'll have to see her condition.
Well, that makes at least 2 swollen ankles in this building, or in this complex. Let's just call it.
I was going to say, Joe, did you really want to bring it up?
Let's say I had a nasty tumble before the game, courtesy of one of our metal portable benches. I'm sure there's a warning sticker somewhere on here that says not for standing.
If there isn't, then there's definitely going to be one soon.
If there isn't, there should be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, BSN Sports might hear from me. Their name is all over this table. Though it wasn't the BSN table, it was one of the portable dugout benches. Dismounting the bench, I stepped on the leg, which extends about 2 feet to the side. And that was a nasty sprain, to put it mildly. That one hurt. And I've sprained many an ankle. Play resumes as that's grounded through the left side for a base hit. And Daisha Howard goes right after the first pitch. And now the Golden Falcons have 2 on with 2 outs.
And as Steinmetz comes up to the plate. First and second, 2 outs. Miramata started off the inning strong, but the hit by a pitch, now a single, and a chance for the Golden Falcons to regain the lead with 2 outs.
That's it out to straightaway right, carrying well toward the wall, and Acosta drops the ball. That will bring home 1 run. And being held to third is Howard, as that will go down as the first Dolphins error. And Nick, that one comes in a tough spot.
That's certainly something CSI could not have afforded right there. They unfortunately give up the error, and it gives the Golden Falcons back the lead at 3-2. Truly not what CSI needed there. Miramontes now will try to get the file out of this inning with second and third.
That one's blooped on the infield, and Edwards makes the catch. So Miramontes throws 1 more pitch and gets the third out, as that ball just kept carrying and carrying with the wind, Nick. I'm not sure if you have a replay queued up, but if you do, we'll take one more look at it before break. That one looked like it was going to be a routine fly ball to right, and it carried almost all the way to the fence. And Acosta couldn't make the grab on the move, but the Dolphins recover, record the third out, and will trail by 1 when we come back for the bottom half of the 5th.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Home 5th, about to get started from the College of Staten Island. Golden Falcons took the lead in the top half of the inning on an unearned run. Dropped fly ball in right field. Plated 1. It certainly could have been 2, but the Dolphins did a good job to get the ball in quickly from the right field corner. And that could prove to be a big play later in this game. We'll see.
CSI definitely could have an opportunity to make up for that error if they're able to tie this game 3-2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
More chops when Weekly down the first base line. The flip to first is in time. And Moore is retired.
Now batting, the shortstop, number
A 1-run deficit, certainly a lot less daunting than a 2-run deficit if you're the Dolphins. Eileen Balderas, the batter here, a candidate to tie the game with one big swing. And she takes a called strike.
And once again, Joe, fooled by the off-speed pitch. He was waiting for the fastball, and Williams went right in with that off-speed. She's not a lot of that in this game.
And the 0-1 misses outside. Balderas officially 1 for 1 at the plate. Was hit by a pitch and singled. Comes the 1-1. That catches the inside corner.
Balderas now looking to protect the plate and give Acosta an opportunity to have a runner on first, or at least second.
That misses away.
And again, went off speed on that one. And you saw Balderas. She was ready to take a swing.
She was.
But saw how slow the pitch went. So good job by her to check on that one.
Good discipline at the plate. And that one put a dent in the visitors' dugout.
Always have to be watching the ball, to say the least, when you're here at the CSI softball complex.
Words of wisdom from our public address announcer, Andrew Rotundo. Heads up, he says, after the ball rebounds into the field of play. He had words of wisdom all week long in Florida.
And you guys did a great job of calling all that action in Florida.
He had nuggets of wisdom such as, Joe, the bandwidth is too low. The internet's out. Unfortunately, we had to contend with that all week.
Never a dull moment when we're calling softball games, to say the least.
Never. Here comes the payoff pitch, and that's line foul.
Remember our first game here at the softball complex where we had the infamous infield fly in right field. One of our favorite calls, to say the least.
We had a lot of humorous moments on the call last year. We had a great time calling CSI softball, calling baseball, and we hope to have many more of those throughout the season. This is our first official home game as Balderas takes a called strike 3, but we did have the games on the 4th and 5th of March at the Ferry Hawks. Of course, that's Staten Island University Hospital Community Park. Now, that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
So if I say at the Ferry Hawks, our viewers need to know what I mean.
You don't have to tell me, Joe. I was the PA for those games. It was a very tough, at first to say the full name in general, but we got through the week. That's all that matters.
Well, I butchered the first open in part because I was trying to engineer at the same time. But after that, I was good.
Infamous Nino moment, to say the least.
Had to make sure we had our graphics correct, and I butchered the name of the facility. As Alyssa Acosta grounds out to short, and that brings the 5th inning to a close. Felician leads Staten Island 3-2, heading to the 6th.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. 6th inning about to get started. New pitcher for the Dolphins is Alexandra Frenza. And she misses up and away for ball 1 to Mia Martinez.
Frenza's numbers on the year, she is 1-3. This will be her 10th appearance of the season, has a 6 ERA. She's pitching 23rd and 1/3 of an inning, and is looking to keep this game 3-2 for the Dolphins on an unfortunate error in the previous half inning.
We appeared destined for a slugfest. It has not played out that way, as the commentators' jinx struck once again early in this game. And that ball falls in foul territory between three Dolphins.
And you heard Tracy Garofalo. She said that cannot happen. She's absolutely right. Because now if, Martinez is able to get on, that would be a crucial missed opportunity for the Dolphins to get the first out of the inning.
Well, now that the Dolphins are behind, I think it's safe to mention it without being the commentator's jinx. But with a win today, so that's chopped over to third. Moore has it. Throw to first in time. That's a nice play by Moore.
Moore's made a couple great plays at third base today. Huge first out for CSI.
So as I was about to say, if the Dolphins pick up a win today, Tracy Garofalo picks up career win number 300. They need one.
Could be history here at the softball complex. CSI will need to get back into this game, tie it, and they haven't led it all day, Joe, so have the chance to take the lead in the bottom of the sixth inning potentially if they can keep the game 3-2.
They looked poised to jump in front back in the first inning and were held to just 2 runs. They haven't scored since.
Their biggest opportunity came in that bottom of the fourth inning when they had runners on first and second, no one out, and had 3 straight strikeouts. So they've really had their chances. They just haven't been able to capitalize to the best of their abilities today. But still only a 3-2 game. There's still a lot of game left for them to try. 2 innings still to go.
Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Madeline Lehman. And she takes way outside for ball 2. Now the Dolphins used the same strategy yesterday. Used it, I believe it was against Holy Family, so not in yesterday's doubleheader, but we've seen earlier in the season the Dolphins take Miramontes out of the game and go to Frenza in relief. We've also seen games where Miramontes got the start and the Dolphins went in a different direction out of the bullpen, with Frenza starting game 2. It was against Holy Family, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the week, where the Dolphins started Miramontes, brought Frenza in out of the bullpen. Frenza pitched really well in relief and then struggled in her start, as that one's hit right back to her in the circle, and the second out is recorded.
You said a great play by Frenza in the circle, makes a strong play with the glove, good throw to first base, and already 2 outs for her here at the top of the 6th inning.
Two gone in the top half of the 6th. Hannah Ramirez at the plate, takes ball 1. Ramirez is 0 for 1. Look to keep the inning going with 2 gone. And the 1-0 catches the corner for a called strike. And the 1-1 sails outside for ball 2.
We saw that last inning. CSI got 2 quick first outs of that top of the 5th inning, and the inning got away from them, unfortunately. With hit by a pitch, the single in the error in right field. So CSI needs to try to get out of the inning here. But now a 3-1 count.
Not what Frenza was looking for here. 2 quick outs, had a chance for a 1-2-3 inning. And behind 3-1, she hits Ramirez with the pitch.
That one will also sting, to say the least.
It certainly beats getting hit in the ankle. Looks like she got hit in the leg, the upper leg. But you said it, Nick. They all sting, especially in the cold.
Yep.
2-out base runner for the Golden Falcons. And Joanna Rivera takes low for ball 1.
And if you're CSI, you're hoping not for deja vu like the previous inning. A hit by a pitch with 2 outs and then the single. So Frenza needs to get out of this inning, but already is down 2-0 in this count. So she has certainly fallen behind these last 2 plate appearances after getting 2 quick outs.
Rivera is 0 for 2, the number 9 hitter. This is the out that Frenza has to get, and she does. As the ground ball goes to short, the out is recorded at second, and the side is retired. Our score still 3-2, bottom half of the sixth after this break.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
There you get a look at our statistician, Louis Matrone, adjusting our camera for us just a bit. We were skewed to the right just a little. Now, a slight skew to the right was intentional, but I think the wind took the camera with it at some point during the last couple of innings. So thank you to Louis for fixing that for us, and we're back for the bottom of the sixth.
True MVP so far for the camera has been those zip ties, but as you said, Joe, great job by Louis to fix our camera. And we go into the bottom of the sixth inning, still 3-2 the score. Chance for the Dolphins to tie this game as North comes up to the plate. CSI really could use a spark. They really haven't had these last couple of innings. Williams has been pretty solid in the circle. CSI really needs a leadoff base runner to get things going.
2 up for the Dolphins in this half inning, 6, 7, and 8. So if the Dolphins can get a base runner, they will send it to the top of the order in the 7th. Dolphins, of course, hoping for more than just a base runner, but that's a good place to start. Not behind 0-1, and she takes a called strike 2.
2 straight heaters from Williams here, and now a chance to maybe go off speed.
Noth didn't like that call. Voiced her displeasure as that sails away.
Well, we've seen a lot of that in this game, Joe, where it's seen as that the pitch was on the outside corner towards the batter's box, but it has been called a strike a lot in this game.
It's been consistent. That's all you can ask for. Dolphins have to adjust. If it's consistent, I have no problem with it. And that misses downstairs, so count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is what you
back
need
in the at-bat.
This is what you need to do in the later half of the innings. Got to force the count.
Noth drove in a run back in the first inning with a ground out, and here she looks at a called strike 3.
Oh, you saw it in that bat. Williams basically was going a lot of fastballs, and then on that 2-2 pitch went off speed to get that first strikeout of the inning. So huge first out for the Golden Falcons. Williams has been really good since a really slow start in the bottom of the first inning.
Dolphins haven't mustered much since the first inning. They've scattered 3 hits across the next 4 1/3. Now,
I think they called a check, yeah.
We'll try and get a second look and see if we have it in time. I believe we did. The call appeared to be that Edwards swung, but it looks like the count now reads 2-0. See if we can get a look at it before the next pitch. Can't see too much from this angle. There's no way she offered. They called it a strike, Nick.
That's why Tracy went to go argue it.
Tracy had a case, and that's a nice play over at second on the backhand by Rivera, and there are now 2 out.
Huge play in the field for the Golden Falcons. As Mayer will try to keep the inning going for the Dolphins. Another inning where 2 quick outs for Williams.
Well, I said it before. The Dolphins would hope to get a base runner, but if they don't, they could pinch hit for Carry-On to open up the 7th. Then they could re-enter her, and I think if we get to that point, and it looks like we will, as Mayer is retired, but as I was about to say, if the Dolphins do get to the point where Carry-On leads off the 7th, I think they pinch hit, likely Funston if she's available, and then they'll re-enter Carry-On to run. I think that would be the plan. We'll see if it comes to that as the Dolphins trail 3-2 heading to the 7th.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us.
To intervene.
Because we can.
Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Top of the 7th inning from the CSI softball complex. The Dolphins trail by 1, and the Golden Falcons are looking for some insurance. Top of their order due up. Alexis Vallada will look to get things started. Vallada 0 for 3 in this game, and she takes ball 1.
It's been a good job by CSI, especially from Miramontes, to keep her 0 for 3 in this game with that 371 batting average coming into it. But as you said, Joe, Golden Falcons looking for some insurance, up 3-2. In the top of the 7th inning, CSI cannot afford realistically to give up some runs because it looks like Williams is going to come out there for the bottom of the 7th inning looking for her 7th complete game of the season.
Williams has looked very strong as this game has progressed, has shown no signs of slowing up. In fact, she's only gotten stronger. And now, Frenza has fallen behind 3-0 against Vallada.
Cannot really afford to walk here. There's a big strike 1 to make the count 3-1. But Frenza really needs to find that strike zone here. Cannot afford to give up any base runners because Felician will attack, to say the least.
Vallada was taking all the way on that last pitch, and she takes another strike. Once again, Nick, that outside corner, that's where the pitchers would be wise to attack. We've seen that in this game. That's line foul.
You saw it right there. Frenza was going right for the outside corner once again. Vallada kind of stepped up into the plate a little bit more to get to that ball. As she's able to line it foul to the right. Still count 3-2 here at the top of the 7th inning.
Here comes the payoff pitch. And that misses up and away for ball 4.
Great at-bat by Vallada there to lead off the inning with the walk. And now Sierra comes up to plate, right around first, no one out. CSI really need to try to get some outs sooner rather than later, Joe, because, like I said, Felicia will make them pay for it.
Jaylene Sierra at the plate. Sierra's 2 for 2, has scored a couple of runs, has a double. Was hit by a pitch and was caught stealing in this game as well. Looked like Mayer tried to hide the ball there after she scooped it up.
The old hidden ball trick, maybe? You don't really see that a lot from the catcher sometimes.
That looked like it may have been an effective deke for a second. That would have been something.
Nonetheless, not a great play by Mayer. There was a bunt attempt by Sierra. She's going there again, and again scoops it for the second straight pitch. So Mayer has kept the runner at first with those 2 scoops. That's huge. As we know, Joe, the CSI Dolphins don't like those dirty balls.
No, they don't. I'm not sure we've met a team that does like them, as every dugout doesn't want them. That's the chant, as that's sliced foul. I think Andrew and I got a chance to comment on that chant in Florida.
You did. I remember hearing it.
The first time that we heard it, we had to make sure that's what we were hearing.
One of the more infamous chants here at the College of Staten Island.
That's it over to short, and Balderas can't make the play. It's booted, and everyone is safe.
That is another break CSI cannot afford. It's going to be an E6 for Balderas. They really need to get it out there. And now with Howard coming up to the plate, leading the team in homers and in RBIs, this is a dangerous at-bat for CSI. They really need to try to figure out how to get it out here with first and second, no one out.
That's a big miscue in the field for the Dolphins. I don't think they had a chance at 2, but with a strong throw, you never know. I think the speed of the base runner Sierra coming out of the box would have been too much.
Would have definitely probably would have gotten the out at first. It would have been, like you said, a very
They had the out at second.
Right.
I don't know about an out at first. That ball was hit fairly hard, but not too hard. It was a tailor-made double play grounder. But I don't know if with Sierra's speed the Dolphins would have had a chance. Nonetheless, still nobody out. Both runners safe on that play. Howard is now ahead in the count, 2-0. And time is called as Howard will have a word with her third base coach.
Now, we've seen her, try to attempt a bunt on the first two pitches. Got to wonder if that's the same approach here with a 2-0 count.
This is a big spot. And that pitch sails high for ball 3.
And another 3-0 count for Frenza. She needs to find the strike zone here, especially on this pitch.
And 3-0 misses up and away for ball 4. 4-pitch walk, not what Frenza was looking for. And now the Dolphins are staring in the face of some big trouble.
Well, you'll see, Joe, the infield is now a lot in on this play. The play will have to go to home to try to prevent a run from coming in.
They are all the way in, as that's taken down and away for ball 1. If there was any doubt that this inning belongs to Frenza, I think that goes away with her remaining in this game in this spot. And that's hit off the glove of a diving Balderas and into left field for a base hit. Throw comes home, but it's not nearly in time. 2 runs score on the play, and the Golden Falcons lead it 5-2.
Yeah, the inning just really has gotten away from CSI as Steinmetz gets a 2-run single there, makes it 5-2, and still no one out, first and second, as here comes Kirchia now with an opportunity to increase the Golden Falcons' lead.
I think what really stings on that play is if the Dolphins are at regular depth, they have the out at the plate. At the very least, they have an out at third. But Balderas with a strong effort to try and get a glove on it. She did, but couldn't keep it on the infield. To keep it on the infield would have saved a run, as that's blooped into shallow left center. That's down for a hit. It's barehanded by Carrion, and that prevents a run from coming home.
Almost disaster on that play, but you said a bloop single into left center. Bases are loaded for Mia Martinez, and she can really open up this game with one swing.
Carcano was backing up, but if that hits off of Carrion's hand and rolls toward the left field corner, that could have been catastrophic for the Dolphins. The infield in once again as that's fouled away. Mia Martinez, the batter. She's 0 for 3. Dolphins still looking for the first out in this half inning. They now trail by 3. And that misses for ball 1.
Just froze.
Two balls and 1 strike the count on the Golden Falcons shortstop. And that's lined out toward right center. Carcano on the run makes the catch. That will bring home a run. It will also advance the runner from second to third. Steinmetz now stands over at third base. It's a sacrifice fly that brings home the run. And the Golden Falcons now lead at 6-2.
And you said, Joe, great play by Carcano inside the field to track that one down and get a big first out for the Dolphins. But sacrifice fly nonetheless. It's now 6-2 here in the top of the 7th inning.
Dolphins entered this inning trailing by just a run. They now trail by 4. CSI will concede the stolen base there.
Now takes out the double play for the Dolphins. So second and third, 1 out. One hit right here would bring home both runners.
That sliced foul. Frenza now ahead 0-2 on Madeline Lehman. And I think it goes without saying, the Dolphins absolutely have to have this out. And if they don't get it, and first base becomes occupied, they really can't afford to allow another run. And that's fouled back.
Even just getting a piece of that. But you said it, Joe. This out is probably the most crucial out of the game. A strikeout will go a long way for CSI to get out of the inning. 0-2 count once again with one out. They really could use this one.
Comes the 0-2. And misses low. Waste pitch there on 0-2 from Frenza. And misses for ball 2.
If you're Frenza, you do not want the count to get away from her. 2-2 now.
That sails up and away for ball 3. We've seen this today. CSI pitching getting ahead in 2-strike counts and can't finish the hitters off.
And another ball here would force the bases loaded.
And there's a weak swing and a miss there. Lehman completely fooled. That's a big strikeout for Frenza and the Dolphins, as they are now 2 away.
Biggest strikeout of the game for CSI. Ramirez comes up to the plate, second and third, 2 outs. Dolphins an out away from keeping this a 6-2 game.
And Ramirez takes a ball. Ramirez officially 0 for 1 at the plate. Has been hit by a pitch and laid down a sacrifice. And that's a good job again by Mayer to pull that one in. She's been strong behind the plate in this game.
She has been great defensively for CSI behind the plate. Ramirez now up in the count, 2-0.
And the 2-0 finds the zone for strike 1. Nine, 1, and 2 due up for the Dolphins, looking ahead to the bottom half of the 7th. Comes the 2-1. That sails up and away for ball 3.
Johanna Rivera would be the next batter for the Golden Falcons if the inning were to continue.
Rivera, the number 9 hitter for Felician. And she will have to wait at least one more pitch, as that's in for a called strike 2. Frenza now 1 strike away, getting out of the inning. And that's sliced foul, and Rivera had to take evasive action on that one.
Again, like I said, you got to be heads up when it comes to playing here at the softball complex. But nonetheless, Ramirez with another opportunity here on 3-2.
That's fouled straight back. We'll do it again. Three balls and 2 strikes the count on the Golden Falcons center fielder, and that is sky foul.
Great at bat by Ramirez right now to force this count.
We've said that several times today about these Golden Falcons.
There's a reason why they bat 308 as a team batting average coming into this series. They know how to get on base.
They've been patient, and they draw another walk.
And now we're going to have a pinch hitter here, Joe, as Michaela Brown is going to pitch hit for Rivera with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
5 walks issued by Dolphins pitching in this game. 2 by Miramontes and 3 by Frenza.
Brown on the year hitting .333, has 4 RBIs, and has walked twice, so she comes here with the bases loaded.
Now batting, the pinch hitter, number 20, Michaela Brown.
So Michaela Brown will be the batter, as Nick mentioned. Brown among the leading hitters on this Golden Falcons team. Limited plate appearances, but she's 7 for 21. That an even .333 at the plate. And if she comes through with a hit here, she could break this game wide open. Dolphins hoping for a shot within striking distance in the bottom half of the 7th, and that skips in for ball 1. Comes the 1-0. That's taken for a strike. Comes the 1-1. That's it on the ground to second. Hit slowly, but Edwards has plenty of time. and Brown is retired for the final out of the inning. The Dolphins will trail by 4 when they come to bat in the bottom half of the 7th. One last chance for the Dolphins in their home opener.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we are back for the bottom half of the 7th inning. Last chance for the Dolphins, trailing by 4. Pinch hitter to lead things off for the Dolphins in the home 7th is Avery Mockery, and she takes a called strike.
Mockery on the year hitting .214, 3 RBIs as well with a .357 slugging percentage, .267 on base percentage. She'll try to lead it off for the Dolphins to keep the inning alive as they're trailing by 4, and Williams looking for her 7th complete game of the season.
Mockery's season got off to a great start here at home. Dolphins weren't the home team in a pair of games against Alliance. As the home plate umpires called time now. Looked like he was pointing in our direction for a second. The official scores table's to our left. Though nothing comes of it. Comes the 1-1. That's in for a called strike 2. But as I was saying, against Alliance back on March 3rd, it's a big day for Mockery. If I'm not mistaken, all 3 of her hits came in game 2 of that doubleheader. 3 for 4. She had 3 RBIs in the game, and that's where she stands right now, 14 at-bats into her season. Two balls and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins pinch hitter. And that is in for a called strike 3. Another strikeout for Williams, and she has been dominant in the circle since the early going.
She has been really good for Felician. Now 10 strikeouts on the day, now rallies up her total to 42 on the season, as Carcano comes up with 1 out as she grounds that one foul down the third base line.
Williams just gotten better as this game's gone along. Looked like Miramontes was trending in that direction too, and then came out of the game. You have to wonder as well, does Miramontes stay in that game, or in this game, if it weren't for the error in right field?
That's certainly a debate to be questioned here, as Miramontes was pitching good up until that point. Just had an unfortunate sequence of events to end that inning.
Carcano lays down a bunt right back to the circle, and she's thrown out for out number 2, but I'd be inclined to say it didn't make a difference because she recorded the next out on 1 pitch, so I don't think it changed that much. Obviously, the score changed, and she fell behind, but I don't think the thinking really changes that much. She didn't have to throw many extra pitches, got out of the inning right after that, and gave way to Frenza late in this game as Anissa Acosta takes a strike. Acosta's 2 for 3 at the plate. He's had a nice game. Her bat really beginning to heat up. In between games, this stream will continue. Nick and I will step off headset as that one sails right at us and behind Acosta. Excuse me.
Pronunciation change from what we were accustomed to last season.
Now, Andrew and I had a laugh about this in Florida. All season long on Sportsnet, all season long on Public Address, nobody corrected us.
Yeah.
Really remarkable. Now, I wasn't the guy you go to with that stuff last year, so perhaps we did get corrected and didn't have the information relayed.
It's funny because I tuned into one of the games and I heard you guys say it, and I'm thinking to myself, did something change in the offseason that I am not aware of? And I guess so. But now Costa down 3-2 in this at bat. So Felician is one strike away from a key Game 1 win here in this doubleheader.
Costa looking to keep the Dolphins alive. And she takes ball 4. That will bring Elizabeth Moore to the plate.
Number 23, Liz Moore.
Moore's 0 for 2 in the game. Reached on a walk, came around to score. That was all the way back in the first. And that's sliced foul. So as I was saying, Nick and I will step off headset. There will be no audio in between games. We'll have the final score of Game 1 on display. When Game 2 is about to get started, you'll see the graphic change with a preview of our Game 2 matchup, the updated records. And when you see that, you'll know Nick and I are close to coming back. We figure that with the cold weather, the break in between games might be shortened just a bit. So I would guess that we'll have about 20 to 25 minutes in between games. I've seen the break extend as long as 30 to 40 minutes, but I don't think that's going to be the case today. I think they're going to try and get this game in quickly. And Moore fouls away another one. She remains in a 2-strike hole. Comes another 0-2. And that's hit well out to left field. And the basket catch is made on the move by Sierra. And that will end the ball game. Dolphins fall by 4 runs. And after the score was knotted up at 2 through 1 inning of play, neither team scored again until the 5th. That run belonged to Felician. They took a 3-2 lead. 3 more in the 7th, put them ahead by 4. And that is our final. Felician University 6, Staten Island 2.
Yeah, I mean, just a great opportunity for CSI to get the win today, but the error in right field, and then 3 more runs in the top of the 7th inning gave Felician the lead, and they would not lose that lead. They hold on to this one 6-2, but credit to Riley Williams in this game. Pitched a great game after a slow start in the bottom of the first inning, but she's able to get her 7th complete game now of the season, her 7th win of the season as well, as Felicia gets a key win here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. We'll see if Tracy Garofalo is able to get win number 300 in Game number 2 of the doubleheader, just around maybe 15-20 minutes, depending on how long we have during this break.
I would guess that we'll have about 25 minutes in between games. So, Nick, what you and I will do is step off headset for now. We're going to head up to the administrative building and warm up a bit. When we come back, Dolphins and Golden Falcons Game 2 from the CSI Softball Complex. Felician over Staten Island 6-2 in Game 1.
And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex here at the College of Staten Island for Game 2 of today's NCAA Division II softball action between Felician University and the CSI Dolphins. Game 1 went to Felician by a final score of 6-2. The Dolphins had a chance to take the lead in that game around the 5th inning, just could not get it done. A big costly error in right field in that top of the 5th inning was pretty much the difference maker. It was the go-ahead run for Felician. They got 3 runs at the top of the 7th inning, were able to take the lead 6-2, and they would not lose it, and they would hold on to win that game by the final of 6-2. Now we go into Game 2. Anissa Acosta is on the mound for the Dolphins. It will be her first game started this season. It's her 4th appearance. She has a 6.18 ERA, no wins, no losses, so she is looking for win number 1 of the season as we get underway here at the College of Staten Island. And the first pitch is called for a strike. Alexis Velota is up to the plate. Going into Game 1, she was hitting .371 with 2 home runs, 13 RBIs on the season, but did not record a hit in that game. As she rips one down for a base hit between the third baseman and the shortstop, so a lead-off single for the Golden Falcons. And that's going to bring up Jaylene Sierra.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 5, Jaylene Sierra.
Sierra with a runner on first, nobody out. And she'll take a first pitch strike. Dolphins got some good pitching in Game 1 from Miramontes, but like I said, the unfortunate error was the difference of that game as Sierra lays down the bunt. It's going to be ruled a strike, so 0-2. So early on, Sierra maybe looking to move the runner over to second base with the dangerous Daisha Howard on deck. But now down 0-2 in the count, she will look to protect the plate here. We saw a lot of that in Game 1 from the Golden Falcons. As there's a ground ball to third base. Could be 2. There's 1. They will only get the out at second, so good play at third base by Elizabeth Moore. That's a key first out for the Dolphins. As Daisha Howard will come up to the plate. Howard going into this series was hitting .393, 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. Has a runner on first, 1 away. As there's a ball in the dirt. Scooped up by Mayer, who had a lot of those in Game 1 of this doubleheader. She was really big for the Dolphins defensively. They're going to need her again today. As there's a swing and a miss, 1-1. Like I said, Acosta looking for her first win of the season. Her 4th appearance on the year. She was big in the Game 1 of this doubleheader with her bat. As that one's just a little bit on the outside for ball 2. Two and 1 count for Howard. Runner on first, 1 away. Pitch is called for a strike. Throw on to second. It goes into center field, so it's going to be a stolen base for Sierra. So now a runner in scoring position for the Golden Falcons. And the count being 3-1 for Howard. First base is open, so if Howard were to walk, it would force first and second with 1 away, with Steinmetz on deck. And the 3-1 from Acosta. Going to be fouled away back. And now a 3-2 pitch upcoming. Huge chance for CSI and Acosta to get a big second out. They keep the runner stranded at second. Here comes the 3-2. Once again, fouled away. And like I said earlier, in Game 1, we saw a lot of this from the Golden Falcons. They were able to foul off some pitches, work the count to around this point at 3-2. And they were able to force a lot of, mistake pitches from the Dolphins. And it ultimately was a big reason why they were able to win that Game 1 of this doubleheader. As Howard again fouling that one back to keep the count 3-2. Acosta looking for that third pitch strike to get a key second out for the Dolphins. Here goes another 3-2 pitch from Acosta. That one's going to be drilled into center field. play is going to be made at a key second out for the Dolphins. Nice play by Carcano. A loud out number 2, to say the least, as Catherine Steinmetz is going to come up to the plate for the Golden Falcons with a runner on second. Here comes the first pitch from Acosta to Steinmetz. Ground ball to short. Throw from Balderas on the first is in time to end the top of the first inning. So a great job by Acosta to get out of that jam and keep the game scoreless. We're going to head off into the bottom of the first inning. I will be rejoined by Joe Foreman on the call as we currently have a scoreless game. Dolphins coming to bat.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex. Joe Foreman back with you, rejoining my broadcast partner, Nick Bavone. And Nick, thank you for carrying everyone through the top half of the first inning. We had to get Game 2 set up over at the stats desk. I limped my way back over to the commentary desk, and we're back on the air for the bottom half of the first inning. I was a bit surprised as well to see Anissa Acosta get the start for the Dolphins. I think it explains a lot in terms of how the Dolphins managed their pitching staff in Game 1. Of course, Miramontes got the start. Frenza came on in relief, and now Acosta gets the start here in Game 2. As the Dolphins will look to strike first, Mariah Carcano will lead things off against Alexis De La Cruz in the circle for the Golden Falcons, and Carcano slices the first pitch foul.
De La Cruz's numbers on this season, she's 0-3 with a 6.73 ERA. Does have a complete game as well. So we could see it what we saw in Game 1 with the Golden Falcons pitcher going the distance in this one. But De La Cruz looking for her first win of the season.
Well, our statistician Louis Matrone thought he could make up for taking 0 steps towards setting up Game 2 with a package of fruit snacks. Have to admit, it may have worked, as Carcano grounds out on the attempted bunt.
You saw on that play, De La Cruz had the duck from the throw from Howard, but nonetheless, a big first out with Acosta not coming to bat.
Anissa Acosta is the batter, and she lines one into the glove of a diving Martinez. Nice play by the Golden Falcon shortstop.
Would you say that's a lovely play there, Joe? What a flash of the leather, to say the least, by the shortstop, and a quick second out for the Golden Falcons.
Am I joined by Nick Bavona or Nick Durst?
There's a common theme with Nicks.
That sounded like a Durstism to me. 2 away in the home half of the first. And Eileen Balderas takes a call at strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That's chopped foul. Balderas is quickly in a 2-strike hole. We saw a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings in the middle innings of Game 1. And Balderas grounds out to second for another 1, 2, 3 inning here. As the Dolphins go down in order, no score through 1 from the CSI Softball Complex.
Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Vienna Sherkia will lead things off for the Golden Falcons in the second inning, and she pops one up straight to shortstop, and there's quickly one away.
Balderas did not have to move on that one. One pitch, one out to start the top of the second inning.
Can't ask for much more than that. If you're Acosta in the circle, one pitch, one out. Next to the plate for the Golden Falcons is Mia Martinez. And she fouls one off. Back to our right behind the plate. Comes the 0-1. And this is out of the zone. And the 1-1 is it out to right center in the gap toward the wall, and that bounces off the fence. Martinez heads for third, and she takes a turn there, but will stop with a stand-up triple.
She was thinking about going for the inside the park home run. As you see on when the ball was hit, it hits right off of the fence, and it went over the right fielder's head, which was allowed her to go to third base to get a triple. And now runner on third, one out for the Golden Falcons.
Off the bat, I didn't think she got as much of that ball as she did. I thought she got under it a bit more, and that Carcano might have a play in right center field instead. That one made it all the way to the fence. That's as much opposite field power as we've seen on a swing this year.
And we talked about it too. I mean, the wind is definitely going to play a factor. It's played a factor in game one. Probably played a factor into that one right there.
Victory Leone is the batter. And she's ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Comes the 2-1. That's off the outside corner for ball 3. Hannah Ramirez stands in the on-deck circle. And this is for ball 4, so Acosta didn't appear to want any part of Leone in that at-bat. And now Ramirez will come to the plate with runners on the corners and 1 out.
Well, Ramirez with an opportunity now to drive home that run. Double play ball is in effect, but we've been saying it all day, Joe. It's definitely tough to turn one. The Dolphins were able to do that, be huge 2 key outs to get out of this inning.
And that pitch hits Ramirez in the ankle.
And she says she's okay, Joe.
She emphatically declares she's okay. I wish I could have done the same earlier today. I didn't stay down long, but
you're a trooper.
I'm milking it right now. Bases loaded. 1 out. Joanna Rivera will be the batter. And then from here, it's back to the top of the order. That's fouled straight back.
Dolphins defense playing a little bit in on this one, so the play looks like we'll go to home, potentially, depending on how hard the ground ball is hit, if there is one to happen.
Dolphins brought the infield in late in game one and got burned. As with no one covering second, Leon was able to go about halfway between second and third. The entire infield charged in on the attempted bunt, and now the count is 0-2.
Big opportunity for a strike three pitch from Acosta here.
Comes the 0-2. That's it, right back to the circle. Throw comes home, and the Dolphins will settle for one out on the play.
Another great defensive play for CSI. Acosta, great job of getting her glove down. That's a huge out, because we saw a lot of that in game one, Joe. A lot of base hits going up the middle, and it really burned the Dolphins. That time right there, Acosta able to get the glove down, make a strong throw to the plate. They're only able to get the one out, but nonetheless, bases loaded, 2 outs. They've got a chance to get out of the inning unscathed. As the papers are flying, the wind is intensifying here at the softball complex.
Layla Aponte just was engulfed by a cloud of chalk and dust at second. Our paperwork went flying all over the place. And that's hit foul down the third base line, and I think that hit Leon on the ankle in foul territory. Oh, 0-1 the count on Alexis Velada. And she was nearly hit by that pitch. That being said, didn't make much of an effort to get out of the way.
Right.
You don't see that call too much.
Again, another good play by Mayer to scoop that one up.
That misses outside for ball 2. This next pitch, undoubtedly a big one for Acosta.
Trying to force her to chase on those last 2 pitches, have not budged, though.
And Acosta misses with ball 3 there. And now, Velada firmly in the driver's seat here, ahead 3-1. Can look for her pitch.
Needs a strike right here.
And she offers at it, grounds it foul.
And the merry-go-round will happen on this next pitch. 3-2, bases loaded, 2 outs. Velada is a dangerous hitter, but Acosta is 1 strike away from getting out of the inning and keeping it scoreless.
A lot of trouble for Acosta in the first 2 innings. Chance to escape danger once again here. As Velada calls time to tie her shoe, and we await the 3-2 pitch. Comes the 3-2. That skips in for ball 4. If you're going to walk a batter in that situation, I think at the very least, you want an enticing pitch that gives you a chance for the out, and that pitch didn't do it.
Yeah, another one in the dirt. We've seen that a bunch of that at bat, and Velada just was not budging on it. And because of that, it gives Felician an early 1-0 lead here in the top of the second inning. An opportunity for Sierra to increase that lead with still the bases loaded.
Acosta had thrown just 5 2/3 innings entering this game, already had 5 walks. As she gets the final out there on the fielder's choice, 6-4 on the putout, and the top half of the second inning comes to an end. The Golden Falcons strand the bases loaded, but they score the game's first run. They now lead CSI 1-0.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Leading off for the Dolphins, the left fielder, number 12, Alyssa Acosta.
Home half of the second inning about to get underway from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins now trail by a run. Alexis De La Cruz back to the circle, and she finds the zone for a called strike to Alyssa Acosta.
Minimal damage for the Golden Falcons in that top of the inning. They were able to get one run on the walk with the bases loaded. Only one run, so not much damage to CSI's pitching right there from Anissa Acosta, her Alyssa's sister. But Alyssa now down 0-2 in the count on that foul ball.
Golden Falcons certainly had a chance for more in their half of the second. Acosta quickly behind 0-2, and she hits one to short. Throw to first in time, and there's one away in the home second. That will bring Liz Moore to the plate.
Number 23, Liz Moore.
And the first pitch she sees sails up and away for ball one. That's it on the ground to short once again. Another chance for Martinez, and there are quickly two away.
A chance for a quick 1-2-3 inning for De La Cruz, as Edwards will try to keep the inning going for the Dolphins.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 8, Madison Edwards.
Madison Edwards comes to the plate, 2 outs, and the base is empty, and she looks at a called strike. Comes the 0-1. And that's it out to shallow left, but on the run, Martinez makes the catch. 3 putouts in the inning for the Golden Falcons shortstop. They lead the Dolphins 1-0 heading to the third.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service. So is research, so is becoming a better person, and we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach, and he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him, and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we are back for the third inning from the CSI softball complex. And before we return to the action, I'd like to pass along a special message from all of us here at CSI Athletics. Be sure to save the date. April 20th, 2023 is the date of our CSI Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The Athletics Hall of Fame will feature 6 new inductees this year: Joseph Barisi, Tony Petoza, Pat Daddio. As the inning has started, we'll clear that away from your screen, but Caitlin Flynn of CSI Softball, Melissa Gilardi of women's soccer and Jordan Young of men's basketball will all be inducted into the CSI Athletics Hall of Fame this year. Once again, that ceremony is on April 20th, 2023. Ticketing information should be available in the coming week. We'll be sure to have that for you next time we're on the air with CSI Softball. That's coming up later in the week on Thursday. So by Thursday, we'll let you know how to get your tickets, but you can visit csidolphins.com/HOF for all of the latest information on our 2023 Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That one's ripped down the line by Daisha Howard, and she's on with a leadoff single. Golden Falcons pick up right where they left off in the second.
Howard has certainly been a problem for the Dolphins today in both of these games. Leadoff single, and now Steinmetz comes up to the plate with a runner on first.
That will bring up Catherine Steinmetz. Steinmetz 0 for 1 in the game, as Howard was dancing off of first base there, drawing some attention on the right side.
Steinmetz kind of showing bunt on that first pitch.
I would have been surprised if she tried to lay one down. Golden Falcons with 3 hits in this game. Dolphins still without a base hit. Comes the 2-0. That's fouled back. Two balls and 1 strike, the count on the Felician catcher. And that's lined out into the right center field gap for an extra base hit. That rolls to the base of the fence. Whalen tracks it down. Howard being waved home, and she will score without a throw. It's an RBI double for Catherine Steinmetz, and Felician now leads CSI 2-0.
Steinmetz just rips this one into right center field, and once again, the wind really picking up on that ball and forcing it to that backstop. And because of that, now a 2-0 lead for the Golden Falcons here. Still no one out and a runner on second.
Well, off the bat, there was no question in my mind about that one. That was destined for the wall. That was a shot off the bat of Steinmetz. That might be as hard hit a ball as we've seen all day.
Rivals
pitch
the one
fouled away.
Rivals the hit we saw from Acosta in Game 1, and that bomb in the first inning with that double into left center field.
Vienna Shirkia is the batter. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike on the Golden Falcons right fielder. Felician has scored twice against Anissa Acosta, once in each of the last 2 innings. Felician now has 4 base hits. Looking for more. They had to get a couple of new softballs from the Dolphins dugout. Here comes the 1-1. And that hits Shirkia right in the crown of the helmet.
And it's going to force now a mound visit with Acosta.
That's a circle visit, Nick. Had to get you.
You're right.
Had to get you.
You're right.
If I let that go, Andrew wouldn't let me hear the end of it. Can't let it slide.
Fair enough.
And the Dolphins are going to make a pitching change here. So Anissa Acosta will head back to the CSI dugout.
It's going to be Kelsey Strayer coming on out in relief.
So Strayer was the flex player coming into this game. So Acosta is going to remain in the Dolphins lineup, I presume. And she'll just swap positions with Strayer.
Strayer's stats on the year, she is 0-1, but has one of the better ERAs, the best team ERA for one of the CSI pitchers. 2.56 ERA on the season with 5 strikeouts. So Strayer comes in, first and second, nobody out. Looking to keep this game 2-0. Kind of a daunting task, especially against this Golden Falcons lineup.
She inherits 2 base runners. There's nobody out in the inning. And things not going to get any easier, as Mia Martinez will be the batter. She already has a hit in this game. And you mentioned it, Nick. Strayer with the best ERA on this Dolphins staff. 3rd on the team in innings, behind Miramontes and Frenza. Unlikely we see either of them again in this game, but perhaps maybe they consider using Frenza a second time. I doubt it, but she didn't throw nearly as many pitches as Miramontes.
Right. The best you can hope for Strayer here is that she can give you a good amount of innings and keep this game at bay for the Dolphins, with it already being 2-0.
The Dolphins can stay within striking distance. They have to feel like they have a chance. And Strayer can certainly keep them close. She can escape danger here in the 3rd. Strayer's first pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike. Comes the 0-1. That's a half swing and a foul ball off the bat of Martinez, who's quickly in a 2-strike hole.
We saw in that first game, though, the Golden Falcons were in these strike counts and were able to force the count and get on base. So if you're Strayer here, a strikeout or any ball in play would be key.
Strayer just missed there. One and 2 the count. And that's ripped foul. Martinez just a bit early on that one. She was certainly on that pitch. I'll have to wait back just a bit longer. Another 1 and 2 on its way. That sails up high. Here comes the 2 and 2. And that misses for ball 3.
And once again, the Golden Falcons have forced the count now full at 3 and 2 with nobody out.
Payoff pitch upcoming. Runners stay put, and that misses high for ball 4. Strayer got ahead in the count and lost Martinez. Victory Leon will be the batter, and she has a chance to break this game open early.
Dolphins are playing in. They're ready to throw it to home.
Strayer misses with her first pitch, and she's quickly behind 1-0. And the 1-0 catches the inside corner. That's a pitch Strayer had to have. Can't afford to fall behind 2-0 in that spot.
After throwing the first 2 strikes of that previous at bat, she had thrown 4 straight to get the walk, and then the ball right there.
That's chopped foul, and once again, Strayer will have a chance ahead in the count to pick up a big strikeout.
And she needs to get that strike 3 because, as we've seen a lot, and I've mentioned it a lot, Golden Falcons have forced the count, and they did it in that previous at-bat. Leon could definitely do it here. We'll try to protect the play with a 1-2 pitch.
And that pitch hit the batter. I thought I heard it hit the batter, but on the way in, it didn't look like it was headed inside. Perhaps a bit of an optical illusion on that one, as that forces in a run.
Another tough break for the Dolphins. Now 3-0 lead, and still no one is out for the Golden Falcons.
This game could be in danger of getting away from CSI early here. If they don't stop the bleeding, 2 runs already home in the inning. Hannah Ramirez at the plate, and she takes down and in for ball 1. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike on the Golden Falcons center fielder. And that's lined through the hole on the right side for a base hit. 1 run is in. And held at third was Martinez. Nobody out. I like that decision over at third base. No reason to take a chance. And the Golden Falcons now lead the Dolphins 4-0.
Yeah, kind of a weak ground ball between the first and second baseman, but with the infield going in on that defensive positioning, it forced the single. And thankfully for the Dolphins, only 1 run comes in, but now 4-0 here in only the top of the 3rd inning.
And that's blooped at the shallow center for another Golden Falcons base hit. The throw goes to third. It gets away, but Leone can't go anywhere as Moore tracks it down. Back-to-back RBI singles. First Ramirez, now Rivera. And Felician leads CSI 5-0.
Carcano was trying to track that ball, but just fell right in front of her. She might have had a play at second base, but was looking towards the runner at third. Thankfully, nothing comes about it with the runner advancing to home on the throw. It's now 5-0. And now the circle visit here, trying to, CSI trying to get that first out of that inning. It's now 5-0. The bases are still loaded. And Velota up to the plate.
Velota 1 for 1 in the game with an RBI. Chance here to break this game wide open. It's already a 5-run lead for the Golden Falcons. That pitch is taken inside for ball 1.
A lot of inside pitches being thrown by Strayer so far since coming out of relief.
Comes the 1-0. That's in for a called strike. Comes the 1-1. And that is ripped foul. And that third base coaching box, dangerous spot sometimes.
Especially from where he is standing, definitely a dangerous spot to say the least. But for Strayer, another 2-strike count. She's had a couple of those already since coming out of relief. She really could use a strikeout right here to get CSI that first out.
Comes the 1-2. And that's blooped on the infield where the catch is made. And there's 1 away.
A sigh of relief for the Dolphins. They finally record the first out of the inning. 2 outs away from getting out of it, with Sierra coming up to the plate.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 5, Jalen Sierra.
Jaylene Sierra is the batter, and that's fouled away. That was Herb Melendez over there in the third base coaching box. He had to take evasive action quickly. Oh, 2 now. The count on Sierra. Strayer looking for another big out in this spot. That sails way upstairs. We spoke about it from time to time last year. Strikeouts were tough to come by for Strayer last season. That's hit in the air, shallow left. And they will not test the arm of Acosta in left field. Probably a smart move.
Definitely a smart move, to say the least. Huge second out for the Dolphins. So Strayer is 1 out away from keeping this a 5-run game. But with Howard at the plate, CSI needs to get this final out more than ever to keep the game within reach.
Bases loaded, now 2 outs. And a very dangerous hitter at the plate, Daisha Howard. That one's hit in the air. Foul territory and out of play. Lewis made sure to let me know that was not out of play. It got caught up in the fence. But we didn't catch the ball.
Yeah. I had no comment. Just no comment.
That's fouled straight back. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strayer 1 strike away from stranding the bases loaded. And that's hit hard on the ground through the middle for a base hit. 2 runs will score. Going first to third is Rivera, and it's a 2 RBI base hit for Daisha Howard. Golden Falcons now lead at 7-0.
Well, another single up the middle for the Golden Falcons. We saw a couple of those in that first game. Howard gets one right up the middle. 2 runs are able to score. A 6th spot now here in the top of the 3rd inning. They now have a 7-0 lead. Kind of what we expected to see from this Golden Falcons offense. They are just very, very dangerous at the plate.
That pitch is in for a called strike. Catherine Steinmetz at the plate. Hit one all the way out to the fence in right center last time up. Felician has batted around here in the 3rd as that sails way upstairs.
You see Aponte now kind of playing a little bit more towards the bag as they might try to throw out Howard potentially at second or just to avoid another ground ball up the middle.
I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to induce a rundown. What makes me think they may not is that they have one of their best hitters at the plate. But we've seen this from the Dolphins from time to time this year. Games have just gotten away from them early. See if they have a comeback in them. But they're down 7 before their 3rd turn at bat. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's fouled back.
Simon's trying to keep the at-bat going. 2-2 once again. Another chance for Strayer to get that 3rd pitch strike that has been eluding her a lot in this inning as she tries to keep it 7-0.
And another 2-2 is ripped. Foul.
Just went foul on that one.
3 words. Not by much.
Simon certainly had herself a day at the plate. Almost drove in 2 more runs right there.
She's getting good swings against Dolphins pitching in this game. Here comes another 2-2. That's popped up. On the infield, foul territory, and Moore makes the catch to retire the side. But not before the Golden Falcons score 6 times. We'll see if the Dolphins have a comeback in them as they come to the plate, trailing 7-0.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
And we are back for the home half of the third inning.
Leading off for the Dolphins, the second baseman, number 51, Layla Aponte.
Layla Aponte will be the batter. Dolphins looking to mount a comeback, trailing by 7. That pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1.
Last inning certainly got away from the Dolphins. A 6th spot for the Golden Falcons. It will be an uphill climb for CSI to get back into this one, trailing 7-0.
We've seen the Dolphin bats are certainly capable of delivering runs. Scored 6 in Game 1 against Westchester University of Pennsylvania yesterday. Had a couple of big games last time they were here on this field as the road team against Alliance University. And Aponte lines out to short. Once again, Martinez with the putout. She's been busy.
She's been very active, Joe. Very, very active with the glove in these last about an inning and a third. She's recorded the last 4 outs for the Golden Falcons.
Rianne Mayer will be the batter. She takes on the outside corner for strike 1. Seven up and 7 down for De La Cruz. And Mayer cannot disrupt it. She hit it hard, but straight to second base. Now, again, my view is obstructed.
De La Cruz was, she kind of got
she got a piece of it.
Yeah, and
okay.
she seemed a little gingerly getting up, once that play was made. But it looks like she's going to be fine and go into this next at bat. As she's now recorded 8 straight outs to start off this game.
Given her reaction, I thought the ball had perhaps hit her, but I couldn't see it.
A very tough angle from where we are sitting behind home plate.
Nick and I are directly behind the right-hand hitter's batter's box. Normally, we're next to the visiting team's dugout on an angle, but our wiring made this setup a bit easier for us. Didn't have to run as much cable as that's hit well out to right field by Victoria Whalen, and that's off the base of the fence. Whalen is into second base standing with a 2-out double, and she's fired up as the Dolphins dugout begins to make some noise.
Well, Joe, you want to get a spark for this team. That's how you do it. A big ripping double into right field, just off the wall. And now with Carcano coming up, a chance for CSI to cut the deficit to 6.
That's as well as the Dolphins have hit a ball in this game. Anissa Acosta had a couple of nice drives in Game 1. Whalen with an extra base hit here in the third inning of Game 2 to get the Dolphins into the hit column. And now a chance for Mariah Carcano to get the Dolphins on the board.
And nothing more than you can ask out of your number 9 hitter to get you a chance for your top of the order to bring home the run.
I'd be surprised to see them keep pitching Carcano away here.
Especially with Nisa Acosta on deck. This is a big key out for the Golden Falcons to get out of the inning.
Well, they are definitely guarding that left field line. That I can tell you. I'm not sure if you can see it on the main camera. Probably not. But in the left field corner, they are very much protecting the line.
It's funny you said that, Joe, because as you said that, the camera kind of moved a little bit towards the left with the wind intensifying.
That's taken up and away for ball 3. So Carcano is now ahead in the count 3-1. Anissa Acosta on deck. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. That's swung on and missed for strike 2.
A little bit out in front on that pitch for Carcano, and now 3-2 needs to protect the plate to keep the inning going for the Dolphins as they try to get their first run of this game.
Here comes the payoff pitch. And that's tapped on the ground, and that is a tremendous diving stop. And the throw is in time. What a play by Martinez yet again.
Martinez is putting on a show, maybe a clinic here at the softball complex. What a big time out here to end the bottom of the third inning and keep it 7-0 for the Golden Falcons.
With the infield drawn in, Martinez makes the diving stop and throws out Carcano for the final out of the inning. The Dolphins are turned aside. They trail by 7 heading to the 4th.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we are back for the 4th inning from the CSI softball complex. Vienna Shirkia will lead things off. New pitcher for the Dolphins is Alexandra Frenza. And Nick, as I suspected, Frenza is available for Game 2, and she's back in the circle for CSI.
And she will try to keep this game 7-0 here in the top of the 4th inning, a 6th spot for the Golden Falcons in the previous inning. So CSI trying to keep this at least somewhat within reach, as that first pitch was just a bit outside.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
1-0 the count on the Golden Falcons right fielder, and she's quickly ahead 2-0.
Same exact location for Frenza on that pitch. So a little bit outside so far for her direction of her pitches.
2-0, misses low for ball 3. I wouldn't be shocked if we see another Dolphins pitcher or two in this game, especially if the Dolphins were to make a push. And Frenza comes in and issues a 4-pitch walk.
Well, not the start to the inning that you were wanting for Frenza. 4 straight pitches, all balls. Now a leadoff runner on first base. And it brings up Mia Martinez.
There's a double play grounder. And the throw to first is not in time. Martinez on via the fielder's choice. The Dolphins get the lead runner at second. And Victory Leon will be the batter. That pitched in at the knees for a called strike.
Now, with the amount of pitches she threw in Game 1, you got to wonder how long of a leash Frenza will have in this Game 2, as you alluded to earlier.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. Well, I mentioned it before. Her pitch count didn't seem like it got too high. I don't know if we had the official tally. I don't believe we did.
Seemed like around 30 to 40 pitches is what I would estimate.
Seems about right. And just about all of those came in the final inning.
Right.
One and two the count. And that misses down and away. Our next broadcast will be right back here on Thursday. Dolphins will take on American International College here at the CSI Softball Complex. Now, there is a lot of inclement weather in the forecast throughout the week, so I would say that at this point, those games are far from a certainty, though taking a look at it now, it appears that forecast has improved a bit.
Kind of had the same thing for today's game. We didn't know if today's game would be played due to the weather.
Initially, it didn't look good. But things cleared up, fortunately, and minus the cold, it's a great day for softball, but as we said earlier, it is very cold.
Yeah.
That misses for ball 4.
It's another instance where the Dolphins have had a 2-strike count and just not been able to find that third pitch strike, and it's led to a walk for the Golden Falcons.
Hannah Ramirez will be the batter. 2 on and 1 out. If you're Felician, you have to wonder at what point do you start trying to play for a run to get this game over with in 5. Is that an approach they would take? Or do they just keep playing it out?
Well, maybe it depends on how they feel about this cold weather. That could play a factor.
And I think something else to keep in mind, and a reason why you don't play for 1 run, is remember what 2 games between these 2 teams were last year. The Dolphins scored a combined 19 runs in 2 games. So at any point, the CSI bats can catch fire, and before you know it, we may have a game again.
That's why it's key for Frenza to get this to get at least a second out here. But now down 3-1 in the count, in danger of loading the bases for the Golden Falcons.
Entering the day, Frenza had walked 22 and 23 and a third. So walks have been a problem for her this season. There's a big swing and a miss there. Both CSI starters, or at least the 2 players who have started the most games, those being Miramontes and Frenza, had solid numbers before yesterday's games. So that's flared into shallow right. That's down. Whalen throws to second, and the Dolphins get the out on the fielder's choice.
That's a heads-up play by Whalen, and that's a huge second out for CSI. Now 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. So they have a chance to get out of the inning and keep it 7-0. As you said, not a bloop single. It goes down as a fielder's choice on the putout right there.
Well, that has to be frustrating for the batter, that being Ramirez in that case. No hit for her, and there are now 2 gone. Joanna Rivera fouls back the first pitch she sees for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That misses for a ball. Rivera is 1 for 2 in the game with a run batted in.
Ramirez moved to second on that last pitch, so now 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs.
Now 2 in scoring position, and that's it out to left center field, but Carcano is there, and she makes the catch for the final out of the inning. Golden Falcons strand 2 in scoring position. Their lead remains 7 as we head to the home 4th.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag, like facing backwards and look like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
34, Anissa Acosta.
Home 4th about to get started. Anissa Acosta will lead things off for the Dolphins. The lone CSI hit belongs to Victoria Whalen. That came in the last inning. And that pitch is fouled away. TJ got the start in this game. Was pulled in the midst of that 3rd inning. Kelsey Strayer came on in relief. She was then relieved by Frenza. Count now even at 1 ball and 1 strike on Acosta.
Acosta can get on base, maybe could provide a spark for CSI.
That pitch sails up and away. Comes a 2-1. That's it well at the deep left center field. That one carrying back toward the wall, and it's off the scoreboard. Anissa Acosta with a solo home run that hit halfway up the left field scoreboard, and the Dolphins are on the board. They now trail 7-1.
Well, you need a spark. Why not get it with a bang right there? A big-time home run from Acosta. As now it's a 7-1 game here at the College Side Island. Now, CSI really needs to take advantage of that home run and keep this game going. Now a 6-run deficit here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
That is TJ's 3rd home run in 24 hours. Hit 2 yesterday, and now has her 3rd of the season. Eileen Balderas, the batter. She quickly fouls away that first pitch. We'll see if that can get the Dolphins going. CSI still trails by 6, but that dugout came alive with that last home run.
They knew it right off the bat that was going over the wall.
That one chopped toward the middle, and the backhand play can't be made. That's going to be a base hit for Balderas.
So a leadoff home run from Acosta, now the single there from Balderas. And you said it in the previous half inning, Joe. Don't give the Dolphins a chance to come back in this game. They could make you pay for it. Already a run here in the bottom of the 4th inning and a chance to get more.
Said it before and I'll say it again. Don't forget how the 2 games last year played out, as that's thrown away into center field, and it rolls all the way to the fence. Here comes Balderas. Acosta heads for 3rd. She's being waved home. Throw to the plate is in time. And that was certainly the right call, Nick. We could see it.
Tracy is not happy with the call, but unfortunately, Joe, it is the right call.
It was. I can't believe she sent her. Nobody out in the inning.
It's going to be an E5 on Howard, and you're right. It went all the way back to the wall. Easy first run came in, and just unfortunately, towards the end of it, you see it. The tag was there just before she got to the plate. Tough break for CSI. They do get that 2nd run, though, in.
That's chopped right back to the circle, and Moore is retired on 1 pitch. Now, I think ultimately what decided safer out at the plate was the slide.
Yep.
A good slide, she was definitely going to be safe, but you could see it on the replay. She was absolutely out.
And you got to give her credit to the Golden Falcons, too. They got a good relay in to make sure that they could get that out at the plate. The throw was there on time, but you're right. The slide definitely would have been the key factor in that run potentially coming in.
I think a good slide, especially a head-first slide, and she's absolutely safe there. Still a bit surprised. They sent her with nobody out. One ball and 1 strike the count on Madison Edwards, and that's lined the other way. It's down for a base hit. Dolphins keep the line moving here, and we'll look to mount some more with 2 outs.
And now that play at the plate even becomes more crucial, because that definitely would have brought home the runner. So unfortunately for CSI, it's just a single, but they can keep the inning going if Aponte can keep the, like I said, keep the inning going with a big base hit or maybe even a walk here.
This game is far from over. Dolphins hope that it doesn't come down to 1 run late. We said the same thing last game as well with that caught stealing. And then ultimately, Dolphins fell behind on an error. Ponte quickly behind, 0-2. That misses outside. Edwards has been dancing off of first base. Comes the 1-2. That is chopped foul.
Just went foul at the very last second. Would have been a tough play at first and throw for Howard from the third base.
We've seen that quite a few times today. Foul choppers down that third base line. Comes the 1-2. And that's off the outside corner.
Yeah, good job by Aponte. She is not budging on that pitch on the outside corner. Now it's worked the count to 2-2.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That's popped up on the infield, and the catch is made over at second for the final out of the inning. But the Dolphins get 2 runs back. The first on a solo home run by Anissa Acosta. The Dolphins then get 1 more on the throwing error by the Golden Falcons. However, a second run was cut down at the plate, and we head to the 5th with the Dolphins trailing 7-2.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And we are back for the 5th inning from the CSI softball complex, and we're going to get one more look at that play at the plate during the previous half inning. We got a look at the Acosta home run. Here's a look at how the second Dolphins run came home and how a third run was denied.
You see the ball goes all the way into the walls. That first pitch was foul. And you saw on the replay, you can see here on the relay throw, it gets to the plate in time. The slide, though, was a key factor, as you said, Joe, into that out being made and forced by the Golden Falcons. So, tough break for CSI because it would have brought home a run if she had stayed at third base, considering the single right after that.
Dolphins settle for a 5-run deficit following a 2-run inning. Still plenty of time as we play in the top half of the 5th. Dolphins, going into the 3rd, did not have a hit. They're now being out-hit just 7-5.
That home run certainly sparked the Dolphins' bats. They're going to need a little bit more, though, if they're going to get back into this game, with the lead now trimmed to 5.
Big issue for the Dolphins in this game has been 5 walks. They've also hit 3 batters. And that's something you can't afford in any game against any opponent. And that's how you end up trailing by 5 when you're being out-hit by just 2.
Another key factor is CSI has had a lot of 2-strike counts in this game. They just have not been able to get the strikeouts that they really needed, and it's led to those walks and some of those hit-by pitches.
Well, if you look at the strikeout numbers for this Dolphins pitching staff as that gets under the glove of Balderas, we'll see how they score that one. I think that's going to be an error. I was communicating with the stats desk for a moment, but as I was saying, if you take a look at the Dolphins' strikeout numbers on the season, as a team, they have just 43 strikeouts and 81 in a third. That's remarkable. You don't see that much in today's game.
Yeah. And look how dominant Williams was in Game 1 because of her strikeout totals. Had 32 going into that game. And was able to strike out, I believe, 10 at the final tally.
That makes a huge difference. And when you combine that with 56 walks, that walk to strikeout ratio is not good.
And there's another walk right there.
That's walk number 6 for the Dolphins in this game. And now that error to open up the inning has opened the door, and the Golden Falcons look poised to storm straight through.
And with Howard at the plate, again, another dangerous chance for the Golden Falcons to increase this lead. CSI could really afford to get that key first out right here.
There's a first pitch strike to Daisha Howard. And a very dangerous hitter at the plate. Just so happens to be an out the Dolphins desperately need. That misses away for ball 1.
And the biggest issue, Joe, is that we're at the heart of the order for this Golden Falcons lineup. So that's where it really gets dangerous for CSI when it comes down to this scenario with it being a 5-run game.
If you were going to commit an error in the field, if you're the Dolphins, to lead off the inning with the middle of the order coming up next was not the spot where you wanted that error. But a chance here now for Frenza with a 2-strike count on Howard to pick up a big strikeout. And how many times have we said that today, Nick?
A lot. And the problem is, like as I've said, the Golden Falcons have fouled off a lot of pitches. They have forced the count to go to 3-2 and have gotten walks and been hit by a pitch because of that. Case in point is they fouled that one off.
These Felician hitters have made it really tough on Dolphin pitching, and to their credit, they've put together a lot of good at-bats over these 2 games and have not given the Dolphins many easy outs. We had those 3 innings in Game 1 where the 2 teams combined to go down 1-2-3 a few times. Outside of that, we've hardly seen it at all.
Now another 2-2 pitch coming up to Howard. She's fouled off the last 2.
And that's hit through the right side for another Felician base hit. Velada being waved home, and the throw was bobbled by Whalen.
I would say that's a single and an error, Joe, because I think her bobbling it, I think, forced the runner to not only go from second to third, but forced that runner to come in.
Well, we can't assume an out at the plate. I don't think they had a play at the plate.
I don't think they had the play at going second to third. I think would be where I would put the error.
So you think the runner is still on second without the bobble?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how I would score.
Well, that's up to Lewis. We'll see what he does.
That's goes
now
up
Whalen was the cutoff, correct? Or did she field that ball in right?
She
did field it.
Yeah.
She bobbled it when she picked it up.
Yep.
Got it. I thought the Dolphins had attempted to throw it in. I was watching the runner rounding third, and when I looked up, I saw Whalen bobble the ball. I thought perhaps it was a bit late.
It was a short grounder to right field. Whalen went to go pick it up, bobbled it a little bit. So, yes, you're right. The runner would have scored either way.
Okay.
But from her going to second to third is where I would count the error for.
Well, they have put the error up on the scoreboard, so, Nick, you are correct. At the very least, you and Lewis agree.
Question is, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because we all know that if I don't like it, after the game, I can go in and change it.
That's true.
I don't like to make changes.
Error-free here at CSI.
That's swung on and missed by Catherine Steinmetz, and she's behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still nobody out in the inning, and the Golden Falcons have already gotten 1 run back. And that's ripped through the left side for a base hit. Another run comes in to score. The Felician lead is back to 7, and Nick, they've really been using all fields so far over these 2 games.
There's not one certain spot on the field that they're hitting the ball towards. They're just hitting it everywhere, as you said, Joe, and it's really just been an unfortunate sequence of events for the Dolphins.
It just seems like the Golden Falcons have done a great job finding every hole. We've seen a lot of hits through the left side, through the right side, up the middle. They've shown off opposite field power. I would say most of their hits have been of the ground ball variety through the infield, but they've had some gappers as well. Have really done it all at the plate.
the big reason why they're batting over 300 on the season.
And that's hit hard right back up the middle and into center field for another base hit. That will bring home another run. And it's an RBI single for Vienna Cherkia.
And I would have to imagine that's probably going to be it for Frenza here.
And it looks that way. We'll see what the move is going to be. Dolphins have a lot of capable arms on this team. And Alyssa Zangrilli will come out of the Dolphins' dugout. So with that, we're going to step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, Zangrilli will be the new pitcher for the Dolphins. They trail 10-2.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
We are back. Still nobody out in the road fifth. 2 on. And at the plate is Mia Martinez, who has been a real standout in the field for the Golden Falcons in this game.
Certainly has done it all today for the Golden Falcons. Just trying to add to their lead here in the top of the fifth inning.
At the plate, she's 1 for 2. Tripled and walked thus far in this game. She's quickly ahead in the count here, 2-0. This is the 4th appearance of the season for Alyssa Zangrilli. She quickly falls behind in the count, 3-0. A couple of those haven't been close. That sails up high for ball 4.
Well, not what you want out of relief. A 4-pitch walk to load the bases once again.
Now batting, first baseman number 0, Victory Leon.
Victory Leon will be the batter. She is without an official at-bat in this game. Has walked twice and was hit by a pitch. She scored 2 runs and was credited with an RBI. Comes the 0-1. That's popped up. Shallow center. Carcano charges in and makes the catch. And the throw is cut off in the circle. Another run comes in to score. It's a sacrifice fly for Leon, who is still without an official at-bat. She has 2 RBIs, and her team now leads 11-2.
Well, she did what she needed to do at the plate, at least brought home one of those runs. Now an 11-2 lead for the Golden Falcons.
That's fouled straight back by Hannah Ramirez. Ramirez is 1 for 2 with an RBI. If the Dolphins do not score at least twice in the next half inning, the mercy rule would be invoked through 5. The Felician lead is 9 runs. That's taken for a strike. Ramirez behind 0-2. That skips in for ball 1.
Mary doing another great job of keeping that ball right in front of her by blocking it.
We've seen this in the past, but still gets me every time. Ramirez almost shows bunt before each pitch is delivered, and then pulls back and gets to her batting stance.
It's a very unusual stance to do that. Don't really see that often.
If I'm not mistaken, the last time I saw a player do this, that same player ended up hitting a 3-run homer in Game 2 of the doubleheader. It was a visiting player. I can't remember exactly who it was, but I remember the call specifically. I don't know if you were on that game with me or not, but I found it to be the most unorthodox thing. I don't know how I could get settled in the box doing that first. That's it out to straightaway center. Carcano waits for it, makes the catch. Runners will hold, and there are 2 outs.
Well, the Dolphins are 1 out away from getting out of the inning and keeping this a 9-run game.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 3, Joanna Rivera.
Joanna Rivera steps into the box with 2 outs. Runners on first and second. And that's grounded foul. Rivera is 1 for 3 at the plate in this game, has driven in a run. All but one Golden Falcon, who has had an official at-bat in this game, has a hit. And all 9 Felician starters have reached base. Rivera quickly in a 2-strike hole here. And Zangrilli has a chance to get out of this inning, limiting the damage. That's it softly to short. And the throw hits the runner, rolls into the fence, and the inning will continue. Balderas hit the runner right in the numbers with that throw. It's now 12-2.
Very unorthodox play there. Balderas made the right play to go to third, but as you said, Joe, ran right off of the jersey.
That's a bad break for the Dolphins there, and that was really the only option Balderas had. She made the right play. She gets another chance here, and she throws out Alexis Falata for the final out of the inning. But the Golden Falcons score 5 times. They now lead by 10. Dolphins will need to score at least 3 times to keep this game going in the bottom half of the 5th.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
Home half of the 5th inning about to get underway from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins trail by 10. Line for Felician, 12 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. The Dolphins 2 runs on 5 hits and 3 errors. As we do have a new pitcher for the Golden Falcons, Michaela Brown in the circle. Got a pinch hitting appearance in Game 1.
Brown on the year 1-1 with a 3.82 ERA. And you said, Joe, she pinched hit in the first game of this doubleheader, now trying to essentially end the game here, as the Dolphins need to score some runs here in the bottom of the 5th inning to avoid the mercy rule.
That one's grounded foul. And Mayer is quickly behind 1-2. As I mentioned before, our next broadcast will be on Thursday here at the Softball Diamond. That will not be the next time the Dolphins play. They are right back in action on Tuesday in their conference opener against Malloy University. That game will be played on the road. Or those games, I should say, will be played on the road at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Very busy schedule for the Dolphins in the month of March. We don't see that too often. Very crowded weekend for us as well, as that's it out to left center, and the catch is made for the first out.
You're right, Joe. Certainly a lot of events going on these next couple of days and even weeks here at the College of Staten Island.
Let's take a look. For us, beginning on Thursday, we have softball against American International. That game, those games, of course, to be played here at the CSI Softball Complex, as we've mentioned. On Saturday, both baseball and softball will be in action at the same time. Softball will get started an hour sooner at 11 a.m. Baseball will get underway at 12. Here at the Softball Diamond, the Dolphins take on D'Youville. On the Baseball Diamond, the Dolphins take on Queens College. Then on Sunday, we're right back here again for a softball doubleheader against Bloomfield College. For the first time ever, next Saturday, we're going to try and stream 2 events at once. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but we're going to try it.
The first time for everything.
First time for everything is right. As Whalen stays alive. Now, over at the Baseball Diamond, Nick Durst and I will have the call for Dolphins and Knights. That will go down as the baseball home opener, though unofficially, the games at Ferry Hawks were considered opening weekend. The Dolphins were the home team in those games, played here on Staten Island, just not at the baseball complex. And Whalen takes a called strike 3. Dolphins now down to their final out. So Nick and I up at the Baseball Diamond. Nick Durst and I. Nick Bavona, my broadcast partner here this afternoon, will be joined by Andrew Rotundo down here at the Softball Diamond for coverage of those games. Now, I might pop in early in those games and put on a headset, given we have an hour between the start of softball and the start of baseball. We have to see how the staff situation sorts out ahead of Saturday, as Carcano keeps the Dolphins alive with a 2-out single, and Carcano just keeps hitting.
There's a reason why she leads the team in batting average. Another big base hit right there to keep the game going for CSI. And now Anissa Acosta comes onto the plate. Her first at bat since that, pretty much a mammoth shot right off the scoreboard in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Carcano has been consistent from the start of this season all the way through now, game 16. And Acosta's bat really beginning to heat up. As I mentioned before, she's homered 3 times in the last 4 games. Had a big RBI hit in game 1 as well. Comes the 0-1. That's hit well out to left center field, but she got under it just a bit, and the catch is not made. That ball was lost in the sun. I don't believe it was ever touched, and that's going to go down as an RBI double. We'll see. Now, you can give an error on a ball that's not touched. I think you might have to on that one.
I think you have to give an error on that play.
Number 27, Eileen Balderas.
You're right, Joe. I said it earlier in game 1. The sun is going to play a factor in these games. It definitely played a factor on that play. CSI technically is not done yet. 12-3 now here with 2 outs.
Dolphins need 2 runs to keep this game going. And Balderas certainly could deliver with one big swing.
One big swing would do it.
She's behind in the count here, 0-1. Acosta stands in scoring position at second.
You got to keep in mind, Joe, before that Acosta home run the previous inning, she was tied for the team lead in homers. So she definitely has the pop in her bat to send one over the wall.
Count now 0-2 after it was ruled Balderas went around on that last swing. That's fouled away. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Here comes another 0-2 pitch. And that's it over to third, handled by Howard, and she throws out Balderas to end the ball game. It is a sweep of today's non-conference doubleheader for Felician University as they knock off the Dolphins 12-3 in 5 innings here in Game 2. That was after a Game 1 victory for the Golden Falcons earlier in the day, and after splitting 2 games last year, Felician gets the better of the 2023 meetings.
Well, in that Game 1, Joe, really a game that got away from CSI. It was tied throughout most of the game. A costly error in the top of the 5th inning gave Felician the lead, and they would not lose that lead. They got 3 more runs at the top of the 7th inning, held on to win 6-2. This game really got away from the Dolphins early on in the 6th and the 3rd inning. A 6th spot for Felician. They added 5 more in the 5th inning, and they were able to win this one in big fashion, 12-3. And it showed why, as they had a lot of good time hits. 11 to be exact from their offense today. Great job by them overall.
And I think what stings the most for the Dolphins following this pair of games is we saw what the Dolphins could do against Felician last season. They scored 19 runs across 2 games. Today, they scored just 5 times, and they gave up 18 runs. So really the script was kind of flipped on them versus what we saw last year. And for the Dolphins now, they are 4-12 on the season, and Tracy Garofalo will have to wait at least a couple more days to pick up win number 300.
Yeah, it really stings for the Dolphins, especially how Game 1 went, and then really listening to how this game went. I mean, it just got away from them. Really not the strongest of pitching efforts from them overall. But like we said, Felician is a really good team when it comes down to batting. They came into the series with a 308 batting average as a team. So the Dolphins knew this was going to be a case in which it was going to be a lot of tough outs to get. Unfortunately, they just were not able to get those outs. They had a lot of 2-strike counts, were not able to get that final pitch, and it led to a lot of walks, a lot of hit-by pitches, and obviously in this game, a lot of hits. So CSI going into their next series needs to try to figure out how to enable that 3rd pitch strike in order to get some key wins.
Positive takeaways for the Dolphins today. Carcano continues to hit, has done so all season. Really not much of a surprise there. Anissa Acosta continues to swing a hot bat. Another home run. She came up with a big run-scoring base hit in Game 1 as well. A lot to like. Rianne Mayer behind the plate was very strong. Blocked some tough pitches. The Dolphins pitching staff didn't have their command today, and you have to think the cold weather may have played a role in that. They struggled with hit batters. They struggled with walks, and I think if the temperature wasn't so low, that's an issue the Dolphins may not have faced, and the results today could have been a bit different.
And Miramontes really gave them the best effort today. I mean, other than that error in the 5th inning, she allowed just 2 earned runs on the day. She did pitch a great game. Unfortunately, she goes down with the loss because it was the run earned on her. And then in this game, like you said, it just really did not strong pitching as well, and they really needed that in this series because we knew Felician was going to swing the bat. They could not get those outs, unfortunately, and because of that, they dropped both these games of these doubleheaders. So now they're going to have to figure out how to fix that momentum going into Thursday.
And as we mentioned before, Thursday is the date of our next broadcast. CSI Softball takes on American International College. That doubleheader gets underway right back here at the CSI Softball Complex at 2 p.m. If you can't join us here at the College of Staten Island, be sure to tune in to Thursday's broadcast on the ECC Network. I will be joined on the call Thursday by Andrew Rotundo. Until then, this has been Joe Foreman. And for Nick Bavona and all of us here at the College of Staten Island, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on Thursday. Dolphins drop Game 1 6-2, and they drop Game 2 by a final score of 12-3.